YouTube now. Time to dive into Dwarf Fortress. What? Hades is great. But it's not a roguelike. I'm never going to, so I never finished Hades, but I will not agree with you on that. Hades is a fucking phenomenal achievement of a video game. It's not a roguelike, but it's a phenomenal achievement of a video game. It's a great adventure action game, or a run-based action game, if you want to call it that. With lovely writing and beautiful character design, incredible music. Why would I actively go out and say that something that a lot of people like is bad just because it's not something I want to play? Right? There's plenty of things I don't like. There's plenty of games I don't like. But I'm not going to go saying that it's bad, right? I have zero interest in Diablo. I think Diablo as a franchise peaked with Diablo 2 and is one of the best examples of some of the worst business practices in video games. I hate Diablo, but I'm not going to go around telling other people that it's shit who like it, right? I'm not going to go openly stating this is bad because I personally don't like it. I think World of Warcraft is horrible. I'm not going to go around telling people I think that it's horrible to their face. If people want to play a game that they enjoy, like, just fucking have fun. That's fine. I'm not going to go shitting on somebody's party. Like, plenty of people don't like Dwarf Fort. But ideally, they'll just go play the game they like instead of making repeated, like, threads on the, like, Steam forums going on about how they hate this game. It's like, okay, cool. Now go play a different game. Like, you don't like it? That's fine. Play something else. So, no, I'm not going to go talking shit about Hades just because I personally don't play it. Although anybody who plays World of Warcraft knows. Give me a second, Potato. They know what they did. Tobacco use is one mistake, but it could be very deadly. Furthermore, underpants with funny threats written in the stitching give people pause from fiendish daily rampages. Dragonflies help by biting through thick chitin of Basilian woodpecker feathers infested with slow grin judgments. We inhaled the steam. I'm back. All right. So, cavern dwellers and Reg the armorer has been found dead. We got attacked by these blokes. Blundermoth, thanks for the prime sub. Cheers. I hate DF also me continues to play because, damn it, it continues to play because there's nothing else like it. So we need to dispose of those bodies. That's one thing we need to do. Although I need to remind myself, was there another Forgotten Beast on the map, or was it just this one? I think it was just this one, yeah. Who, the very visually aware of you will have noticed that I actually released him, Tillying this thing. I released this guy during a recording of a different video and then didn't save it. Something else I've done is I've set saving to annual, yearly, because saving in this world takes a very, very, very long time. What's up, Doc? Thanks for the 6 months. Yeah, no, it's... All walls are magma-proof. What do you mean if you played RimWorld aggressively? What does that have to do with anything? All walls, even wooden walls, are magma-proof. But anyway, where was I going? Right. So the whole shtick of this fort is I have to build ramps. I can't use the dig tool. So for clarity's sake, if you've forgotten, I can't use this tool and I can't use the stairs tool. These are two tools I cannot use, right? I can build stairs, and I can dig ramps, and I can channel, but I can't dig out stairs. Oh, yeah, true, I guess, because, like, in RimWorld, anything can just, like, set stuff on fire. Yeah, I mean, that makes a degree of sense. I can't say I've ever played that way, though. All right, so we're just going to manually dump all of these dudes. Just get rid of them real quick. We're going to do a run through of what's going on in the fort, and then from there we are going to open up dwarfy names in the next couple of minutes, and we're going to get back to working on projects. We got a lot of those to work on. And Vixen Rose, thanks for the 4th month. Almost Type Train again. Check your primes. All right, so we do have some dwarves that got bit. Flykick got bit. There was one other that got bit as well. So we do have 2 were critters in the fort. Fortunately, they both live up here behind this wall. So there's Flykick and Arab. Maybe we'll figure out what we're gonna do with them soonish. But for right now, they're just there. Thanks for the $10, Jerry Gord. That's very kind of you.
Train, please.
So the named dwarves in the fort currently are Bonesaw, who's captain of the guard, Brokely, Calcium Crypt, Darius Cardin, Diamond, Flykick, and Freehold Boreas, Gimli, Integer the Third, and Jerry Gord and Lenarno, Pandasaurus Rex, and Ryoshin Cat, True Freak, and that is everybody. And as for other dwarves, well, hold on, just let me click this button, and bang, you can now redeem a Dwarf. Apparently you're in jail. Oh, yeah, a lot of people are in jail. Currently, you feel pleasure near a fine restraint, but guilty after being confined. I'm not actually sure what I did, but a bunch of people all went to prison at, like, the same time. I'm not entirely sure what you did either, but let's find out. Violation of production order, I'm assuming? Yeah, injured party mayor. So you must have been blamed for me not making the mayor breastplates. What materials do I have? God, I love the fact that this screen opens so fast now. Let's just make 10 iron breastplates. Because I probably need those anyway. Yeah, we need those anyway. Might as well work on that. Corvius! What kind of dwarf am I giving you? We've got some animal trainers. We got a weaponsmith, we got gem cutters, we got weavers, we got fish dissectors for some reason. We got various cooks and brewers and beekeepers. Did you die? So many died. Many, many, many died. Baron Bus. Thanks for being around to be gifted one, Captain. Weaponsmith sounds fun. You want to be the lady weaponsmith? You are Mural Practice Key, and you're currently taking a bone setting. A class in bone setting, shall we say. She has little time for forgiveness and will generally seek retribution. She has a tendency towards forming deep and emotional bonds with others, and she enjoys the company of others. She likes to brawl. She doesn't seek out excitement. She is often cheerful, and she... Oh, I forgot to turn chat back on this screen. My bad. She enjoys the company of others, and she likes to brawl, and she doesn't seek out excitement. She is often cheerful and is not inherently proud of her talents and accomplishments, and she is often nervous. And she is somewhat quarrelsome, and she is bothered by this since she values friendship. She is assertive, and she generally is quite confident in her abilities when undertaking specific ventures, and she rarely feels discouraged. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. Once the pop is over 100, you're getting a new one? Yeah, so we went from, what was it, 120 population down to 26, I think? We got attacked by a forgotten beast that caused us many a problem. And, you know, we had to memorialize a lot of things. Like a lot of things. This fortress has seen some rough days. To the point now where I'm, like, going, where did I put the tombs? Because I know I put them somewhere. But we did lose a lot of population in this fort. Oh, yeah, I know where I put the tombs. Up here on the surface. Right? Yeah, they're there. There they are. So, like, you know, Diamond Destruct died. Aegis died. Bomrek died, Tekid died, Zas died, Kivish died, Zulban, Irish, yeah, a lot of dwarves died. Like a lot of dwarves died. So, I mean, it's certainly not optimal. Don't we all love to fight, but also yearn for friendship? But anyway, let me just finish reading that dwarf's description, shall we? She personally finds introspection to be a waste of time and dreams of raising a family. Likes nickel silver, bone opal, a giant hoary marmot leather, papyrus, and the color silver, warhammers and low boots and windows and goblets, and the words of the berries of serenity, and the sound of the aquamarine lyric, and the sight of the prim sheen, and when possible prefers to consume plump helmets and longland beer and maize flour and candle nuts, and absolutely hates brown recluse spiders. And has no kills, and aesthetically, she is thin and very muscular. Her narrow nose is hooked, and her ears have nearly fused lobes. Her slightly rounded, close-set jade eyes are protruding, and her extremely long eyebrows are high. Okay, extremely long eyebrows high. Interesting. And her nose bridge is slightly convex, and her short hair is neatly combed. Her pale chestnut skin is slightly wrinkled, and her hair is burnt sienna. And seriously, chat, thank you very much for the second hype train of the day. We started digging down, and haven't made it down to the caverns just yet. Because while we were digging down, we got, stuck elsewhere. 420 blaze it? Is it 420 somewhere? It's probably 420 somewhere now. So we got to deal with those cavern dwellers, and I'm expecting more ambushes from these amphibian peoples. Currently, we are just trying to get all their crap dumped, though. And also, this dwarf needs a coffin, I think. Content-aware scalded? What's mildly content-aware scalded mean? And also, Rolf, thanks for gifting a sub to Dogma. Let's just get rid of you. You. And you. Because they'll put it all in here, and then we can just toss these. Get them crushed. It's 2:04 where you're at. Well, happy early 420 for those of you who celebrate. It's just another one of those completely irrelevant holidays. Uh-oh. Somebody just about got crushed. That was almost really close. All right. So let's try and, just take stock of where we're at. We got plenty of booze, plenty of seeds, but we're going to need something. And by something, I mean we're going to need a method of removing baddies. We're also going to need... water power somewhere at some point. And currently we don't have either of those things. If I hit this button, we can see that there is a aquifer up here, which I could harness. That is something we could do. I could harness an aquifer from up here. That wouldn't be too difficult. So that is an option. Could just channel into here and we could make an aquifer over to the side. Perfectly legit thing that we could do. The problem is I still have no trees, which means I don't actually have access to a lot of power. The other problem here is, I desperately need more pig iron and steel. So I think we're going to queue you up to make pig iron, and we're going to queue you up to make steel. And hopefully those will just continue and do their thing for a little bit. We've got, of course, our little farms down here. And if I start selecting dwarves... we're starting to run into clothing problems, which is why, we built all these clothers shops, but we still, need more cloth of varying types. So I think we're going to see if we can get some pigtail farms set up down here. There's cave wheat and quarry bushes down here. There's got to be pigtails around somewhere. Although those aren't going to be in season until summer, so don't need to worry too much about that. It's still early morning for you, Shades again? Well. You wish it was easier to look at Legends mode with an existing fort. One of your favorite parts is looking at the histories of random weirdos who wander in. The easiest way to do it is just to make a hard save and then retire the fort. But yeah, that's certainly been one of the higher wish listed things in Dwarf Fort for a long time. Which frankly, I don't disagree. I think that there's a DF hack script that just forces Legends to launch, but again, it's another one of those things where it's like the game just crashes 80% of the time. And it's The one thing that makes it not worth it at that point is like your game's just gonna crash. But we're gonna try and find the next cavern lair. That's what we're working towards. Let's just get these walls smoothed first, because I've been doing that the whole way down. Might as well continue. But regardless, chat, thank you for all the support today. You guys are very kind. I could have, like, thinned this down and gone only one wide deep, but... Oh, yeah, also, did I appoint a baron yet? I don't think I did. Or we're still working towards that. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, like, there's also, like, a setting where only stuff that you've discovered in Fortress... I don't know actually how to turn this setting on, but there is a setting so that you can only read legends that you've discovered in Fortress in adventure mode. So only figures that you've found are readable in legends, which is kind of a neat thing, which would make a lot of sense for a mechanic like that if, like, a poet came by and you suddenly learn a lot of legends. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now they're practically... Is that a custom world gen option? Yeah, that's it exists somewhere. But it's one of those things where you know, I kind of wish it was implemented in a more coherent fashion. What's up, Rednass? We're hitting more tetrahedrite. It's good materials, but yeah, I mean that's what I used to do with older versions. Is I would just have 2 installs, just launch the second one, which is just as easy to do in the current version. You just copy or install. Your previous fort had an open tavern and an open library, and you think that you told the outpost liaison more about the world, than they did us. Oh, you mean like instead of getting like you would just get a lot of so and so has shared rumors from abroad constantly, I think is the pop-up. A stray puppy has been found dead. Well, that's horrible. Well, we should deal with that puppy. Okay, I'm going to hotkey stuff because I haven't done that yet. Let's do F1. F2, F3. There we go. So this upper area has this really big hole in front of it. This really big hole is slowly transporting boulders up here. By that, I mean transporting boulders really quickly. This really big hole has a goal, and it is the really big hole wants to reach this cavern layer. So eventually, this is just going to go straight into that cavern layer. So we need to continue working on the really big hole to a point, but this is my very large excavation project, shall we say. I mean, if people pop up in the chat, I say hi. Rednass. It's like a large portion of the reason why I stream. I know some streamers don't do that these days. Some streamers are all like, oh, I'm famous enough that my audience will just entertain themselves. But I'm all like, nah, I gotta talk to people. What's the point of streaming public entertainment on a free platform largely without like saying hi to people? Never fully understood that. I think it also helps that I was like a middling-sized streamer for a very long time, and I'm not yet used to the audience norms of being a bit of a bigger streamer. Put a butcher shop closer to the corpse. There is one, literally right next to it. But they don't always butcher animals when they die, and also it depends on the context of how they died. If they died of old age, nah, they won't butcher them. There's nothing there to butcher. I could just do YouTube playthroughs. It's funny because like making YouTube playthroughs is a ton of work for me that is not pleasant, that I don't like. Like the reason I can never keep series up is because I don't like making that kind of content. It's not fun. It feels like work. After seeing a 500 plus viewer streamer respond to every message. Who was that? That sounds like something Cherno would do. But although if you speedrun the same game enough, it just becomes muscle memory at a point. Although Cherno isn't really much of a speedrunner these days. He's just a delinquent VTuber. Okay, well, we'll let them go work on the really big hole, and we'll go down here. Who's in prison now? Coulette's in prison? He's trying to attend a meeting. That's suboptimal. You think Cherno was the first stream you ever watched? He's a good dude. He's a good dude. So yeah, I am kind of like attempting to set up ranged dwarves, but yeah, they're not working in this fort. Sometimes they work, sometimes they just don't. And I'm certainly not one of those people that's cracked the code of how to make them work. Certainly not. Not in this version. Older versions, yeah. This one, no. Who am I and what have I done with blind? Too curious to think if I can to not stop and think if I should. Would be me. We're also going to keep seeing the these pop-ups because I do have 2 were creatures in the fort. They live behind walls, but the little night creature pop-up is going to be popping up once a month because, well, there is 2 of them. Not allowed to export certain things? Well, that's unfortunate. Me being disappointed at chat all day? I'm not disappointed at chat all day. Just periodically. There's a pretty major difference there. What? Since when are we using closest material? I guess when I swapped it over for the doors. Dang it. Wrong material. That's Gabbro. So the biggest, or one of the bigger issues with this map is there are no trees. And the first cavern layer that we've made it down to, which is this one, has no trees either. So we need to get down to the next one so that I can hopefully have a consistent supply of mushroom wood. Because frankly, this is getting a little ridiculous. just a little bit. Just a little bit ridiculous. So hopefully we can find trees. Hopefully. Ever seen a completely treeless map? What, like all 3 cavern layers are completely treeless? I don't think so. Bloodthorn layer would be fantastic, actually. Also need to find more dwarves that work in the military. This one becomes completely stressful and becomes completely helpless in stressful situations. Obsessed with details. Dreams of raising a family, hey? Doesn't value skills related to fighting. Well, that's unfortunate. For work orders, we currently have 1 brash statue queued up, which I need to buy more brass for, but I'm leaving it queued up because it's dedicated to somebody of importance. We're making thrones. We're brewing drinks from plants. I've probably agreed to make some sort of guild hall somewhere. This down here is a temple. That up here is a temple. Okay. This down here is also a temple. Maybe I'll make this into a guild hall. This over here is a guild hall right now. The Book of Gulfs, which is a farmer guild hall. And then I have the musical lenses. And then the Seasons of Trust, which is the Doctor Guild Hall. Yeah, think wooden thoughts, chat. Think wooden thoughts. See, I always make fisher dwarves into doctors because they've seen the inside of a body before. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what the fisher dwarves are good at. Do they dream of mastering a skill? Then yeah, sure, put them in the military. If not, then eh. Boreas, thanks for gifting a sub to Mr. Voix. Your generosity is not unparalleled, but very much appreciated. To make an entire fort a tavern? I mean, you could make the entire fort a tavern zone, but that would be a bit redundant. You want your taverns to be, like, large enough that they can dance, but also smaller-ish. And the reason you want them to be smaller-ish is so that they can actually group up and socialize. Because if they're not grouping up and socializing, then they're just stressing themselves out. And they won't make friends, which you kind of need them to do. Cobaltite. It's a fun color. More tetrahedrite. Now you know why not to do it? Well, I mean, you could do it. I just, myself, wouldn't recommend it because there are drawbacks to it. Like, something just being a tavern doesn't give them happy thoughts by default. What you should do, though, is you should make multiple dining halls alongside of your tavern. So have a tavern and then multiple dining halls. And then eventually multiple taverns, because you want them to split up and group up in different locations. It's too small and the tantrum children start fights. If your children are tantruming, you've already screwed up. Like, if you have children that are upset enough that they are tantruming, you've already screwed up. Is it a good idea to assign a dormitory to your tavern? If you have visitors, they will sleep in the dorm. Like, if you have visitors that have, like, requested long-term stay, they will sleep in the dormitory. Not even all of the chores, just the hauling bodies ones. And make sure that you have plenty of toys. Giving them toys gives them a huge mood buff. And also have plenty of guild halls that allow children in them. Water I don't find to be that bad, unless you have a lot of injured dwarves constantly, but bringing water isn't too bad. Like, that one's fine. In my experience, anyway. Is that true, Dogma? I generally only ever assign bedrooms and not dormitories, so. I assume it is since you said it that they're not working. As long as your water source is secure? Yeah, and you don't want them running past a pile of dead bodies. You know what I thought was kind of funny? There was a comment I saw, I want to say in the Kit Fox Discord the other day, where they said that they like Dwarf Fortress more than RimWorld because dwarves are somewhat competent. They're just like, in RimWorld, one angry horse can kill my entire base because everybody just has mental breakdowns at the exact wrong time. Whereas in Dwarf Fortress, I've had major threats killed by a group of angry children. Which I think is really funny. They also build tantruming children. Origento. Booze Hammer, hello. Joining a tad late. Nah, man, you're still early. We're only 2 hours in. Pawns feel like calculators? Pawns are like little drone robots that are designed to make your gameplay less pleasant. You got your children doing refuse because every time they get attacked by a military, your military turns goblins into collection of giblets. Yeah, no, they'll do that. How do I disable this, chat? Can't stand that shit. Need to figure out what that cause is, because I know exactly why that dwarf is dehydrated, and it's not a concern. I hate it when it babysits me. Stupid DF hack. Disable Warren hydrated? Oh, dehydrated. Nope. Apparently, the ghostly farmer, Zon, paralyzes Coulette, the mason. Somebody must have burned to death, so we didn't have a body to bury. We'll have to deal with that. And now we, wait for a long time. Why would we take bets, Boreas? I'm not going to stick with it for very long. I can tell you I'm going to play with it for a week or two. But most of the messing around and stuff I'm doing is off stream, so. I just don't like how DF Hack makes the game play itself. How do you turn off auto cancellation of dump tiles that's made playing on Aquifers miserable for you? In the init files somewhere, it's a hidden setting. You basically don't. Is the actual answer to that? Do you just dig through the aquifers? Just dig through it. But I don't ever turn it off and do not recommend turning it off. Because it'll be nice until you suddenly need it, in which case then you, like, you know, drain your whole fort. So this saving adventure data, apparently I'm not the only person who's gotten this. This is only something it's supposed to save if you've had adventurers in this world. So for some reason, this world thinks I've had an adventurer when I haven't, which is weird. Because adventure mode is not active at all right now. Yeah, just play somewhere without aquifers, basically, is what I would do. Or just generate worlds without aquifers. Use one of the various mods to disable them entirely, or, you know, something to that point. Isn't life just one big adventure? Allegedly. That's not what a light aquifer is. Light aquifer is the amount of water that comes out of the aquifer, not the thickness, right? So any aquifer can be 15 layers deep, all right? Light does not mean depth. A heavy aquifer is like the equivalent of a torrent of water that fills up the hole instantly and immediately drowns the dwarf that digs into the hole, right? So if like a light aquifer is like a dribbling tap, a heavy aquifer is a fire hose. So when people say things like, oh, it's a supposedly light aquifer, that's not what light aquifer means. Light aquifer is the amount of flow coming out of the wall, not the depth. A heavy aquifer could be 1 Z level thick, it could be 15. But a heavy aquifer, the amount of water coming out of it is just a gushing torrent of wetness. Rocking like a hurricane is life. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even think about it. I mean, I've dug through many an annoying aquifer in my time, and I've just stopped caring at this point. Sup, Raccoon with matches? As we sit here and wait for this load screen to end. Fortunately, it only happens once a year now because I've set it to annual. But still. Getting over a cold? Oof. I had a rough 72 hours. It's been I don't know. It's been a crappy brain week. Heavy aquifers still require either waiting for them to freeze, plugging it with a cork, or using a pump stack. Yeah. Whereas like light aquifers don't. Light aquifers you can just dig through them. And for those of you who don't remember, heavy aquifers used to be the only aquifers. Ask me again in 2 months. I should be better by then. This comes and goes. It's a seasonal thing for me. Usually it's gone by June, but we'll see. We'll see. Spring's just crappy season for me generally. Although going on a hike this past weekend helped. Even though it was a hike in the rain. What's up, Blood Odin? They love ramps. I mean, okay, so here's a bigger question. What does Tony Hawk and 50 Cent have in common? They're both in a video game with big-ass ramps. Because 50 Cent Blood on the Sand is a terrible video game. Which nobody should play. That's like the only thing from that game that I remember was watching my cousin play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand once, and just the whole, hey, 50, hit that big-ass ramp, just is like the only line of dialogue I remember from that game. It's just, hey, 50, hit that big-ass ramp. Or that huge-ass ramp sometimes. Usually it's a big-ass ramp, though. Yep. That was the only thing that was good about that game, was watching other people play it. The game itself, 3 out of 10. But watching other people play it, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's also a game that's like almost impossible to play now. Sonic 06 kind of game. I would say it worked better than Sonic 06. Like, it was more functional than Sonic 06. Like, Sonic 06, like, just straight up doesn't work in places. Whereas, like, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand works. It's just bad. What's up, gamer? We're waiting for the game to save. It'll save eventually. Don't panic. Although, incredibly so, against all odds, they've managed to make Sonic games that work recently. Hi, Sanic. What's up, dude? Oh, yeah, no, totally. I mean, most of Sonic 06's speedruns are just them flying out of bounds. Like, it is a fun speedrun game, yes. Although most Sonic games are kind of like that. Like, I'll bet you that recent Sonic game probably has some really quick times, too. Sonic games just kind of give you a good enough amount of movement that you can just kind of break them, usually. But yeah, no, these long saves has made it clear to me that this is the last fort I'm going to play in this world. Not that this world is bad or anything. I really like this world, but the accidental ceiling is a good faction. But I'm not keeping with this if it's gonna lag this much. Long save yucky. Yep. Yep. Doop a doop doop a doop a doop a doop. Do I have to look at Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I'd rather not. Like if I need to, I will, but I would rather not. Hey. Yeah, no, Putnam is aware, apparently has seen it on the streams. Has no idea. It's happened to a couple people. Basically the game has decided that there is adventure mode and adventurers happening when there isn't. So there's quite literally no reason for that menu to do that thing and get stuck there. All right, let's go grab Zon. Ghost, no slabs engraved. But yes, we made it. Did anybody pull out a stopwatch? You're gonna go lurk and grab lunch? You feeling better, Dragon Man? But yeah, no, this world has had a lot of history. We've played a lot of forts in this world. All right, well. Did they cancel it or did they make it? I think they made it. Apparently I got a couple of these. There's Zon. Okay. Haven't even thought about it yet. Boreas. Have not even thought about it yet. I mean, ask me that when I'm generating a new world. I don't generally plan ahead. I barely plan my own forts ahead. People ask me, they're like, what's the plan for the next fort while I'm playing the current fort? It's like, I don't know. I'll figure that out when I'm playing it. Well, that's good to hear, Dragon Man. Being sick sucks. It wouldn't exist without me, Dragon. So, yes. I don't think schedule's released yet. It's basically been me and FG that are making that happen, so. Yes, I will be in it. Which will be fun, because I haven't done a hot potato segment since 2020? I think was the last one I did. There we go. 2 ghosts being put to rest. Let's see, who's the most pissed? There are 2 pissed off dwarves in the fort. One of them is one of my military dwarves. Alrighty, Bucket Glass, you're getting removed from the military. Because you need to go cheer yourself up. Who else do we have that's pissed? Missed him. You're attending a meeting. Were you in prison? We're bored after leading an unexciting life for so long. Well, since you want to lead an exciting life, how about we try you in the military? Cooler, what up? You pointing at the? Are you pointing at the ghost? Is that what's up? Hopefully have dwarves. If the next fort doesn't have dwarves, I'm slightly concerned. Doesn't feel anything while crying on somebody in charge. Let's see if being in the military is better. Got copper gauntlets, iron breastplate. Doesn't feel anything after putting on a well-crafted item. Is immediately tired. Got an artifact happening. Pandasaurus Rex, the holy mine, has been possessed. Keep an eye on that, see what they claim. We should all work together. It's claimed a jeweler's workshop. All right. Just giant eagles? I mean, that would just require modding your game. But yeah, has run off, and so is going to go grab something. Kulet, the miner, has been found dead, dehydrated. Yeah, that makes sense. This dwarf went nuts a little while ago. Although that being said, my water source here has drained kind of a lot, which is kind of funny. So we do need a new water source, which we're getting to eventually. So what I think I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to go to the top of this aquifer. And we're going to dig out this. Channel it down, build flooring, and make this into a well. Because we need a well that's not in the cavern layer. Wait, what? Oh, you mean like a no dwarves thing would be hiring Gandalf? I'm not certain I understand the reference. What would having no dwarves have to do with hiring Gandalf? And giant eagles would be very Gandalf-y, though. That part I understand. It's the other bit I don't. Okay, so we're going to channel this all down a little bit, leaving one bit open so they can get out. Oh, wow, that was fast. And a window. Huh. Pandasaurus Rex, the Holy Mine, has created Zacitikal Sensath Otil, a plume agate window, and claims it as a family heirloom. I think we have to put it into her temple. What do you think, chat? This is a plume agate window. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It menaces with spikes of plume agate. That's kind of cool. An altar would have been really cool. If only it was an altar. Man, missed opportunity that. All right. Let's get floors made out of blocks. And we're going to go down and figure out where her temple is. It's one of the two on the ends here. It's this one, I think. There it is. Panda, the Holy Mine. So we will... Would that count it as a gem window? No, I guess it wouldn't. So it would just be a window? That's weird. It's like it's a gem window, but is not constructible from the gem window menu. That is odd. Okay. Good luck stealing that there, dwarf. All right, well, it appears that I must have run out of coffins because... Or at the very least, assignable coffins, because I've got some bodies just lying around outside, so let's get these set up. We're now going to go up to here. And I'm going to set this right here to be a water source. And we are going to build a well right there. Let's use microcline stuff. Let's use a fungi wood bucket and a llama wool rope and a fancy mechanism. After 5 years, the fort finally gets a well. We're using the aquifer, so there will be plenty of water in there. Infinite, even. Now just hope nobody falls in there, because it'll be hard to get them out. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had an artifact altar. No, now that you say that. No more dry throats? Nope. No, definitely not. All right, well, we can let them do that. It's certainly not the nicest aquifer, but hey. There's a child down here playing in this mud puddle. So this was a lake that got completely drained by that forgotten beast who's in the wall, because that forgotten beast is a ball of fire. So this entire thing is just like draining, which is kind of awesome, I guess. We've got like this really neat looking cavern layer now because of it. There's also some exposed hematite and slate and other materials, which is kind of neat. Aegis, you did have a dwarf previously who died in the balls of fire from the forgotten beastie. But what kind of dwarf would you like now? If you'd like to see the list of dwarves, let me know. Can we see this in ASCII? Sure. It's just a lot of brown in the middle of color. And then a lot of bouncing ones. Lycott the Soldier. You had that one picked out specifically. Speaking of, I need to check in on the new one. Exhilarated after remembering getting into an argument. Do you like training, though? Likes his dining room and bedroom. You know what? I agree with that. Lenarno is not the one you want. Lycott is. Aegis. He lives at a high-energy kinetic pace, and he has little interest in joking around. Is somewhat uncomfortable around those that appear unusual or live differently from himself, is trusting, and tries to keep things orderly. He can handle stress, and he has a greedy streak. He doesn't tend to hold on to grievances, and he doesn't mind a little tumult and discord in day-to-day living. He enjoys the company of others, and he has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications. And he thinks he is fairly important in the grand scheme of things, and he is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and lowers his eyes when he's annoyed, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day, and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Dreams of creating a great work of art. Personally respects Fowler, finds friendship burdensome, and values honesty. Guess he's had too much. He's a soldier. Too much training, more like. He likes lemonite, gold and wood opal, green glass and tiger shark leather and llama wool, and rope, reed paper, and the color ceratreuse, and then crossbows and goats for their eating habits, and the words of the page of aquamarine, and the sound of the lacy phrases, and the sight of the musical blossom, and when possible prefers to consume white shark, white stork, and guppy, and blood amaranth beer, and maize flour, and absolutely hates snails. I could actually give them some beds for in here, which would probably be wise. The thing is, I have to be kind of specific about where I put them. We could actually do a little space right here. Put some beds in there. How's Militia Commander Bonesaw doing these days? Well, you're not Militia Commander. You're a Captain of the Guard, and you hate your life, and you hate your job. You are one of the most pissed-off dwarves in the entire fort. You do claim to be very slow to anger, which I deem not true. You've been bored after being unable to practice some martial art for too long. Quite happy recent thoughts, but you are very pissed for some reason. You got haunted by the dead. That's probably got something to do with it. Currently, you're eating in your own dining room, and you don't have any chairs in your dining room. We should sort that out. Or you're missing a chair in your dining room. in a chokehold, if you start doing that, you will get fired like immediately. So if that's your goal, that's how you don't maintain your job very long. You haven't killed anybody, no. Vast majority of the fort did, and yes, so did your dwarf. Raccoon with matches. I'm just going to remove all of these. Is there anything else I don't need? Nope. But yeah, the vast majority of the fort died, so. I would say that assuming that your dwarf died is probably the most likely course of action. What, that a raccoon with matches would die of fire is ironic? I mean, it's fitting. No, he's pissed because ghosts went around and upset everybody for a little bit there. That's actually the reason all 4 of the pissed off dwarves were pissed. Is because for a minute there, every single dwarf was getting haunted by the dead, it seemed like. I mean, I did have like 100-something bodies to bury, so. Fitting? I mean, it's the word I use. I don't know if it's necessarily better. Because it's the word I use doesn't make it better. But it is the word I use. Yeah, no, ghosts don't like dwarves. There still is that one person on Reddit who claimed that they just like didn't memorialize a single body, and the result was they had a bunch of dwarves that were super upset all the time, but the vast majority of them were just like became completely desensitized to the random ghosts around and just kind of hung out with them and made friends with them, which is wild. And the only ghosts they would memorialize were the ones that were vengeful, so the ones that would like hurt the dwarves. Which I guess is a way to do it, but I've never managed to make it work. Ah, friggin' finally. We've discovered an expansive cavern deep underground. Well, this one has trees. Normal cave spider silk as well. Lots of it. Oh boy. Lots and lots and lots of it. Look at all that spider silk. More tetrahedrite? Tons of it. Now we have wood. No, that's just rude. What was the... What is the... Or it's this one. Others. Not seeing anything. All right, well. Let's, forbid this. And just ramp up along here instead. And we'll build across here and build ramps. And we'll try and get ourselves down into the base level so that we can, you know, have a way up and down. Are you really doing what I think you're doing? Yeah, you are. Chat, we found a genius. You guess the loom is being built down there? Maybe not the loom, but a bunch of them. There you go. Who is that? I didn't look. A genius, though, is whoever it was. Some, like, dwarven astrophysicist. Oh, nope. Actually can't go down. But what I guess I'll do is we will ramp up a little further. Let's go whoop, up to about there, and then go down here. Can dig out this side. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's cats are if they fits, they sits. Dwarves are, if they can get themselves stuck, they will. You know, it's just in their nature. They naturally get themselves stuck in places. Open the units menu and you shall spot them. So chat, to those of you who listened to the chat that I did with Putnam, what particular things are you looking forward to them adding to Dwarf Fort? You know, I think I'm also going to remove that task from Bonesaw. Let's just see if hanging out helps. Kavish is the other pissed off dwarf we need to look into. You know, like, somebody did point out, I think it was in Tekid's chat, that, you know, 80% frame rate increase on 2 FPS is barely 3 FPS. But it is true, yes. FPS improvements are exciting. We're brown? There's a lot of them. Brown, light skin, and a hood. No, it could have been that one. Could have been this one. Could have been Mang. Was it this one? Was it Ast? This guy? Just felt pleasure near a tastefully arranged table. Sup, Neil? How are you? The fact that your stocks window opens now? Yeah, no, the stocks menu opening thing is lovely. Now, it's either Dessert or Dr. Zerd, and I'm not sure which one. But thank you very much for that tier 1 subscription. It's good to see you. Things are going well. Well, that's good to hear, man. How goes trains? Well, it's something that we're just gonna try. We're gonna try and do either monthly or whenever there's new update. Like, I wanted to get this current talk out sooner, but had to wait for updates to be out. And we'll do another one when the next one goes up. Sorting of the work order menu? Yeah, I agree with that. Multiplayer. Any game can be multiplayer if you just have friends that come over. Which I don't, so. At least not that I play games with. When friends come over to my place, we generally just drink and listen to music. Twitch Plays DF already exists. Nobody watches it. It's had consistently 1 average viewer since it started. First, kidnap a friend. Uh-huh. Second, tie up friend. Third, force friend to watch you play video game. 3, prison sentence? Already exists, like I said. It's literally live right now, I think. Yeah, it's right here. And it's had consistently 1 average viewer since launch. Which, kind of sad, but I've said this many times. Twitch Plays things are temporary fads at best. And everybody ignores them at worst. The prison goes in the question mark step? Okay, well, the question mark step is a pretty important one. Let's just get these walls removed. Searching for a dwarf by skill would be nice too. I mean, we kind of already have that because they put their best skill is the color that they are, and you search by color, but Oh, the first Twitch plays Pokemon was 1000% lightning in a bottle. Okay, so do I have them set to loom thread? That is the question. Automatically collect webs. All right, well. I'm just going to make a buttload of looms right here. If I can remember where that thing is. And I think I might actually forbid the looms on the upper level. Buttload of looms equals like 5 looms, apparently. Isn't that just playing a game with really bad UI? Yep. Yeah, I've not seen a Twitch plays take off in a very long time. And with some rare exceptions, also games that have things like Twitch integration generally don't do that well because of the Twitch integration. They do well in spite of the Twitch integration. Twitch integration doesn't sell video games. So if you're a developer and you're spending a lot of time adding Twitch integration to your game, rethink it, because games that do well, that also have Twitch integration, do well. But games with Twitch integration are not guaranteed to do well. I like this comment that I just got from somebody on YouTube. There needs to be a video called Things I Wish I'd Known Before Starting to Play Dwarf Fortress. And the video, they just show you how to navigate Blind's YouTube channel and watch his quick tutorial. You know, ironically, I should probably make a 5 things you should know before you start playing Dwarf Fortress video and just, like, reference my own tutorials. That actually is something I should do. Ugh. Oh, no, totally. Like, there is absolutely, like, weird, like, community lore cultish moments from the Twitch Plays Pokemon stuff, and it made it awesome, right? But that's just, like, Twitch chat memes, right? And that kind of thing happens now, but with very different types of content. You know, like, that's happened with Watch Me Forever, right? That, like, AI Seinfeld show. Like, that's already a thing. I love just this cave spider sitting on the loom. It's just like it's helping. Look at that. See? Spider helping. Well, I mean, it's never going to happen. Boxtuber son. Like, legit, like, official multiplayer support is never going to happen for Dwarf Fort. And I will ignore all unofficial because I have no interest. Direct silk production? Yeah. As long as they're not biting the dwarf. Well, I mean, they would need to... we should stop talking about this, Lightning Runner. And the reason we should stop talking about this, I realize you just tuned in, is because, 1, it's never going to happen. And 2, it's one of those questions that the developers hate answering, and us talking about it is just going to make, like, people who are just passively paying attention to the stream think it's happening, which it's not. So, no. It's not nuts, and it's just never going to happen. Oh, they want me to upgrade my farmer at Guild Hall. Well, we can do that. Which is this one, I think. Yep. So what's the value of it right now? 2,000. I need to get the value up to 10,000. So I don't think we should discuss DF multiplayer because it doesn't exist and won't ever exist. But it is party time. Allow me to reiterate what I just said. Dwarf Fortress multiplayer is never going to exist, and we shouldn't even bother discussing it because it just gets people excited for a feature that's never going to exist. What about multiplayer adventure mode? Same thing, same video game. Go play different games if that's what you want.
Down
I think that one's already assigned to somewhere else. Also, hello, Shaku. Good morning. But also, Lightning Runner, Vox Tuberson, hello, and Unemployed Shaku as well. But yeah, I've learned over the years that if I talk about something a lot related to Dwarf Fortress, even if it's just speculation, people start to parrot what I say on Reddit and stuff as stuff that's actually happening, when the vast majority of the time that's not the case, and I certainly do not want to give people the wrong impression. So I unfortunately have a bit of influence over this community, and so I have to be careful about what I say. And some things just aren't going to happen. And that's one of those things. Huh? Like, actually? Who uploaded that? Because that's something that I have talked about a couple times. No, it's not coming to Dwarf Fort. Unless somebody is being, like, extremely loose with the definition of the word time, or the words time travel. Ironically, DF already runs on mobile via Steam streaming. All right, so this is just going to be a continuation of the barracks. Well, I mean, Tarn has talked about time travel a couple of times as something that he wants in the game, but not as something that's, like, actually reasonably going to happen. What? Through Steam streaming? I mean, it'll run just, like, as well as your home PC runs it. So if your home PC runs it well, then it'll run just fine on your mobile device. Assuming you're using local streaming. So, and I would also argue that Dwarf Fortress runs quite well these days in comparison to how it used to run. A force that is dark and vile has arrived. I don't see them, though. Oh, they're there. It's weird that it gives you the notification that they've arrived before they actually arrive. Yeah, I mean, that's a pie-in-the-sky feature that Tarn's wanted for ages. Being able to run the timeline forwards and backwards in time. But, like, yeah, no, it's not actually going to happen. Snatchers protect the children. Okay, so let's follow Darius. Just gonna clear all of these. Dwarves chase off and bits fly everywhere. Elfie Bean is fighting. Slashes. Oh, that was an Etten. Slashes a goblin crossbowman in the upper arm with her steel short sword, and the severed part sails off in an arc, and she stabs the goblin crossbowman in the left foot. Also, apparently, Jerry Gord is giving away a Vile Force of Mug to the chat. Exclamation point, enter, for a chance to win a Vile Force of Mug. A mug, courtesy of Jerry Gord. You have 90 seconds. Let's see. What else is going on here? Aegis is fighting. Slashes the goblin thief in the foot with his steel short sword and cuts off the foot. Stabs him. Oop, that's an it. Slashes. No, that's from a while ago. Apparently all they've done here is they've cut off a goblin's hand. Bits and pieces are flying everywhere. It appears that M right here and Utes have both seen better days. Elfie Bean says, so easily broken, begone fear. Must have gotten several kills already because, yep, they lost their nicknames. So, Elfie Bean, we'll give you your name back. Lenarno's down here just terrified and afraid. They're all terrified and afraid. Would you look at that? Bits and pieces fly everywhere, and then they run forward. Final goblin falls down. Such a shame. I think we are going to give them a break. Sham 101 appears to have won the muglet. Simply click on that redeem link, Sham, and it'll give you instructions on how to get your mug. But welcome to the Mug Club. Consider yourself mugged. And thank you very much, Jerry Gord. I think that's the first merch sale I've had this week. Things have slowed down a little bit because I haven't released a new mug in a while. I think I sold one or two of the Gremlin stuff, but it's been a little bit of a slow week on the merch store. This is all fine, though. A bat killed a Gorlak? Oh, no. Does that mean you should burn the entire cavern? You should definitely kill the bat. That poor Gorlak. Welcome back, Casualty. A good old cup of Casualty. You had your first Gorlak Scholar? Seeing like just random neutral Gorlaks that are like listed as adventurers is always so neat. I love that I've managed to like turn the entire community around on Gorlaks. It's like when Steam first launched, everybody was like, "Oh God, what are these?" Now it's just like everybody loves Gorlaks now. Gorlaks are great. Is gifting dwarves on? Does it say that it's on the thing? Remembering just asking to turn it on delays it more. But no, currently it's not on. Visitors are, so like monster hunters, scholars, poets, those are all technically adventurer parties, yeah. Now you have Mike Wazowski. Ay. Mug's on its way. Hell yeah. They generally ship pretty quick, so you'll hopefully get it by next week. I have no idea, because the adventure data should be player adventure data, right? So if it's saving adventure data, normally it goes by real quick, and it's generally just player adventure data, meaning no, no, that shouldn't be related, like, at all. It's weird that I can't build these on top of ramps. They should just deconstruct the ramp. So and that's why it's confusing. And you want to know why I can tell you such a blatant statement of why that's not what it is, Nutty? It's because I asked the same thing. But no, the NPC adventurers have a different save thingy. Yep, no, it was very much a yep, nope, no idea. I think we're going to need a Weaver's Guild pretty soon. Such web. All right, we're going to go to the body parts screen, and I'm just going to tell them to dump all of this. We're also going to go to the corpses screen, and I'm going to tell them to dump all of these as well. Just get rid of those goblins. Well, I mean, you also need to remember that Putnam has looked at a lot of the code. There's large portions of the code that even Putnam hasn't seen yet, right? Because, like, yeah, she's working on Dwarf Fort, but she's also working on very specific portions of Dwarf Fort. And, like, a large majority of what she's been doing for the past, like, 3 months has just been port work, right? Even when you've seen all the code, debugging is hard. Oh, yeah, no, it's no easy task. It's good that somebody's doing it, but, like, yeah, I don't expect... I don't expect Putnam to be an expert in the DF code for another year. Also, investments are open for people who care. All right, so we're going to get this done. And now that this is getting done, we're going to start doing this. These are the first trees I've chopped down on this map. It's a real shame the elves haven't been trading with us, because I'll bet you they'd really like us. What was that dwarf doing? Oh, you're collecting webs. Makes sense. I found trees, yes. On elevation -5. A human caravan has arrived to trade. Could just sell them silk. Silk actually is a pretty good trading material. Where did I put my trading depot? I actually can't remember. Didn't I move it? I'd swear that I did. Guess I didn't. I thought I put it right there. But I suppose I didn't. Well, time to replay. Oh, no, I did. It's right here. Duh. Yeah, so this is super strange. For some reason, Forgotten Beast silk cloth and Forgotten Beast silk clothing, you can't sell. The fuck's up with that? Like, actually, what in the world is up with that? Like, that's so weird. It's so strange. I don't understand. It's been like that since version 50. For some reason. You can't sell those. Also, we got another migrant wave. Seems like I actually need to save and load because I need to restart my game because my alert notifications are no longer the way they're supposed to be. So I'm going to do something behind the scenes and then restart the game. Init, announcements. Actually, what I'm going to do is just this. I'm going to cheat. Not really, but... End messages. There it is. I love the fact that I can just re-download my own announcements folder because I just have it in pinned. Place file and destination. Close that. I gotta restart the game. Made from the fire blob that sprays out the but actually, here's the question. Can you sell Forgotten Beast leather? Because I wonder if you can sell anything made out of Forgotten Beasts. I know you can sell like artifacts made out of Forgotten Beasts. But what about Forgotten Beast leather? Now that's curious. Why are the beasts always forgotten? When will they be remembered? They're remembered when they show up. Like, literally, when they show up on your map and attack you, that's when they're remembered. They're forgotten beasts because they're creatures from the realms of old. Not unsimilar to, like, you know, the Belrog or whatever we dug too deeply and greedily, etc. Chat, I have a question. Name one thing you wish you knew before you started playing Dwarf Fort. While I'm sitting here in these load screens waiting for the game to restart, I'm going to try and workshop some ideas for 10 things you should know before playing Dwarf Fort. What is something you wish that you knew? And subbing to my YouTube channel is not one of those things. It's honestly all it is, Casualty, for the no-stakes gambling thing is that it's something I've had in my chat for a bajillion years, since about 2015, and it used to just be a way to drive, like, chat activity, and now it's just there. Diagonal water? That's a good one. Seed, cooking. How to steal a fortress? You don't really. Don't gather the entire surface every season. Wait, why not? Actually, I think surface gathering is something that people don't know, generally. That's 3. I'll continue workshopping this. It's okay to do things messy. Leaving boulders are good. I mean, that doesn't matter. Moon-based boss. Or actually, maybe dig into rock and avoid dirt. And holes in the ceiling from trees. It's probably one. Oh, yeah. Chores. Are your children angry all the time? Oh, gather webs, maybe? How to run a hospital? Eh. You just hate how laggy it gets? Such is the way of things with games like this. City Skylines gets laggy too. Yeah, that's not something you need to know before playing, Boreas. Setting up a water supply? That's like one of the easiest things to do in Dwarf Fort. The dog explosion? Butcher shop. I will write down eat the puppy. So far I got diagonal waters, seed cooking, surface gather, rocks and blocks are good. Holes in the roof from trees, chores, and eat the puppies. We're getting there. Quackdar? Oh, true. I'll write it down as ham radio. Relaunching. You're supposed to hide you. There we go. The folly of letting your well see the sky? What's wrong with letting your well see the sky? How to make waterfall less deadly? You do that diagonally. Kill a fort or two? That is very, I feel like most people kill more than 2. Sure, but like that's not something you need to know before you start to play. Just because things can be a revelation numbers doesn't mean like it's necessary. Oh, I know one. Why why should dwarves, or why you can only have a dwarf sent to either hunting, mining, or woodcutting, like just job competition stuff? Because they can't equip all 3 things at the same time, and they need to spit, like, basically Civ uniforms. Lie can freeze? Wait, really? Are you for real right now? That's whack. I didn't know that. But then again, I've never put my well above ground, so. Maybe just Mark's dwarves are broken, don't even bother. As of right now, Mark's dwarves are broken. Just don't bother. Maybe. Before we yard work, what you working on? All right, well, we're done trading. Let's see how many logs we have, and start making charcoal. We have 104, 104 logs. Make 104 charcoal. But yeah, I guess I will put together a video like that, several things that 5 or 10 things you should know before you start playing Dwarf Fort. First mow of the year. Oh, that's not boring. You know, it's kind of funny. this weekend at the community garden that I have a plot in, or that me and my mom share a plot in, we get to actually hold on a second. How many woodcutters do I have? One, and there's I have one woodcutter and they're a were creature. Well, I guess you're not that useful. We'll give some other dwarves some woodcutting tasks, like this boyer. You could just click a different column to change militia schedules. Oh, really? Yeah, no, that took some fiddling for me. But yeah, again, I don't think that that's something you need to know before you start playing. Mostly just thinking about basic survival stuff. Possibly discussing the difference between grazing and non-grazing animals? Maybe. Like, I do occasionally hear people saying, oh, how do I feed my puppies? It's like, they feed themselves, it's fine. Not a lot of wood, but lots of dwarves, Ben. That or he'd cut as much wood as a were creature could if only a were creature could cut wood. I mean, honestly, I've fed entire fortresses with nothing but plant gathering like that for many, many years in game. For many years in game, I've fed entire forts with nothing but plant gathering. So I'm going to remove your other tasks and just let you go hack down trees, please. Early forts with no farms went poorly. Like I said, like you can feed 200 dwarves with one fisher dwarf. So food is not really a complex thing in Dwarf Fort, but maybe I've just played too much of this game, so I just have like some survivorship bias bullshit. All right, well, we got what is probably a very large number of dwarves running out and collecting webs now. And weaving thread into silk. How's Darius doing? This dwarf is upset. Grouchy after drinking the same old booze. Well, we're going to need to work on that. Pretty overpowered is an understatement. What guild halls actually do? Again, I don't think that's something you need to... Like, that's something I would describe as advanced. Like, a new player doesn't need to know what a guild hall does. Not right off the bat, anyway. At least in my opinion. Like, you can... Even if you never build a guild hall, you'll be able to make, like, functional forts. I mean, literally all you actually need to make is a tavern, right? Okay, so plants don't die on the surface, casualty, but water freezes. Those are not the same thing. So if you settle somewhere cold, yes, your water will freeze, but that's not the same thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure that most plants just grow year-round on the surface and don't actually die. No, 95% of the bugs that you've heard of no longer apply. More than that. The vast majority of the famous bugs for Dwarf Fortress are not a thing anymore. And haven't been for a really, really long time. To the point where, like, it bothers me when people are just like, but what about insert bug here? It's like, but yeah, sure, like, but it got patched in, decades ago. If not longer. Oh, you redeemed a dwarf stone? Totally missed it. You'd like Ast Hail Wound. Ast. Was it this one? Ast Hail Wound. When did you select that one stone? And why this dwarf specifically? Stone, aka Seashore's Wall, is a perfectionist, prefers to be alone, is swayed by the emotional appeals, and does not enjoy participating in physical confrontations. Works to square this natural tendency with his respect of martial prowess. He finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding and doesn't seek out excitement. Tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects and is grateful when others help him out. Tries to return favors and doesn't tend to hold on to grievances. Tends to make a small mess with his own possessions and is slow to anger. He tends to think before acting and can easily fall in love and or develop positive sentiments. He can handle stress. This dwarf would be great in the military. Has a tendency towards forming deep emotional bonds with others and rarely feels discouraged, isn't particularly interested in the world, and occasionally overindulges and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and dreams of raising a family. Personally finds the notion that one would persevere through adversity completely abhorrent. Believes peace is preferable to war. Sees guile and cunning as indirect and somewhat worthless, and doesn't care about art one way or another. He likes backpacks, anvils, pangolin men for their overlapping scales in the sight of the Primsheen, and when possible prefers to consume giant rhino and date wine and teff, and absolutely hates fire snakes. He has what was once a thin frame, now bearing enormous thick layers of fat, a very long beard, which is neatly combed, sideburns that are clean-shaven, his long mustache is arranged in double braids, his long hair is tied in a ponytail, and his nose is sharply hooked. Sorry, his nose bridge is convex, as well as sharply hooked. Okay, so his nose is sharply hooked, and his nose's bridge is convex. His heliotrope eyes are slightly rounded. His hair is burnt umber, and his skin is chestnut and pale. And Mistum the Gem Setter has been taken by a Fey mood. A mood of the Fey. All right, so let's go back to making... or smelting hematite, I suppose. Let's also smelt tetrahedrite. We'll do both. Stray water buffalo bull has been found starved to death. Whoops. Good thing ChatGPT's perspective is irrelevant and pointless. Okay. We are hacking down the trees. We are going to need to get those blocks out of there, though. I don't know. I'm at the point now where I'm kind of a firm believer in that if you have to ask ChatGPT something, you've already failed. But I don't know. And also, why would you ask an AI to do something when you could just ask a human to do something? The future is terrifying. It's just gonna be little holes everywhere where I've dug stuff up. You asked ChatGPT, it said, if I ask ChatGPT, I haven't failed. Well, obviously. I mean, you could just, like, you know, use a Google search like a normal person. Casualty. I think the technology is some of the... It's either it's a waste of time at best, and it's going to cost people jobs at worst. So... I am distressed and annoyed by the existence of it. Anyway, Because ChatGPT also isn't AI. The billionth goddamn time. It's predictive text. The giant, Eti, Ilailothi, has come. A gigantic creature resembling a human, almost unparalleled in size. I mean, it's wrong. Like, in my experience of fucking with it, about 60% of the time when asking it about gardening and pests and, like, what time of year to plant what plants. So, the name is very elven, yeah. Gemstarter's been taken by a Fey Moon, hasn't claimed anything yet. All right, well, let's go find this giant. Which is not carrying anything. Does actually have a family. Oh. I killed its dad. Not really, no. I saw one of his videos once and didn't find him particularly funny. Druthers. I mean, we've been doing that for years, paying humans to misinform us. Most American news media.
Are y'all winning streamer? Did you make a roof or are your dwarves just living in a hole?
No, we have roofs. They're underground. I mean, you can't construct beds unless there's a roof over it. If you're talking about the previous fort, those are Ettins. But, I mean, we killed, Yukuko, Falstavriflary, the giant in this fort. I think the first day we streamed with this fort. So it might have been the one that I was amazed had a child. No, this giant is not named Inigo Montoya, but is 146 years old. We did kill its father, and it is here to kill us. Or try to. All right, well, it looks like Stone aka Seashore's Wall is terrified while in conflict because there is a swords dwarf right behind him. The swords dwarf then fell and went thunk at the bottom of the hole. Good for you, swords dwarf. Meaning Stone is now dueling by himself. The swords dwarf is coming back up to try and help. Stone, here, seems to mostly be dodging. Also got into a fight with a overlord earlier, but that's kind of unrelated. I feel like the combat logs have been hanging around longer. Did they make them more persistent in this version? Like in the beta? Because I swear that, like, I have combat logs from, like, 4 seasons ago just hanging around now that I used to not, which keeps throwing me off. You did bite the giant in the first toe, tearing the fat and bruising the muscle, so good for you. Swords Dwarf is back, still bleeding after falling off the ledge, is now fighting with the giant, and the giant takes a turn falling alongside of Stone. Did Stone fall all the way? Oh, no, Stone is hanging onto the edge, actually. Stone is currently no longer bleeding, and is holding onto the edge, and is now trying to climb up. And another dwarf went and killed the giant, which was Aegis, I think? Stabbed the giant in the head with a steel short sword, tearing the muscle and the skull and the brain. Aegis got it. From the looks, yep, killed the giant in the year 299. And Stone is still climbing along the wall, so let's see how Stone does. A dwarf did an action movie trick? What, knocked the giant down and then just, like, jumped down on top of it? And then punched it? Because, yeah, pretty much. I'm running off to the hospital now. Oops, nope, that's a boulder. You want to see if one charged the other one off the cliff? Looking for yellow text. Well, I know that one of them dodged off the edge. The Thresher kicks the giant in the right hand with his foot, bruising the muscle. The Thresher is propelled away by the force of the blow after getting punched. So the Thresher got propelled backwards. The giant didn't. So the Thresher got booted off the edge. The giant, I guess, just dodged, like slipped. I think that's kind of what happened. Is the giant got hit a couple times here and the giant fell. Not propelled, but a dwarf got propelled, which is equally hysterical. Mrs. Sparta gone wrong. Define wrong. Like working as intended, if anything. All right, let's get a metal ore stockpile here. The giant punched the dwarf in the hole, and the giant punch. Oh, yeah. I mean, you haven't lived until you've been punted by a giant into a big hole, right? Okay, well, we are moving all that stuff up. I love how we're just slowly clearing all of the webs. We're going to jump up to this layer up here, and we are going to make another garden bed. Right. There's still stuff everywhere here. So what instead I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here, and we're going to build floor, and then we're going to get rid of all the floor. We're just going to use whatever. I'm going to get rid of all these plants. We'll see you later. El Obscura. It's hard to say your name, but we'll see you later, dude. Thank you much for swinging by tonight. But yeah, no, definitely biting the giant's toe is what caused the giant to tumble over the edge. That is my headcanon. What are we all carrying? Everybody's hauling tetrahedrite from the looks of things. Looks of things, everybody's hauling tetrahedrite. Oh, really? Saw your first unicorn recently? Was it a wild unicorn, or was this like one that was brought by traders? Man, I could make like... Can I make brass bars? I can. I could finally make that brass statue. We're going to make pig iron after that. Your dog fought and lost. They can be quite strong if you're not expecting them. Like, they can be quite tough. All right, well, I got a bunch of items on here to melt down as well, so let's... I'll leave the pick. Don't need the maul. Don't need that, and don't need these. We'll let that run on repeat after they are finished smelting everything. We're making pig iron. Make the 2 brass. Maybe game decided it couldn't do that. Oh, never mind. They already made the brass, and they already made the brass into a statue. All right, so I can now place that brass statue, which I'm going to place up here by the cavern. Now this, of course, is an image of the turkey that took a chunk out of the other giant. Some of you may remember when the giant ran into the fortress and got into a fight with my dwarves. Well, you know, the turkey fought and the turkey bit it and made it bleed. This was enough that chat demanded I make a brass statue to the turkey, so there it is. A commemoration of the battle of the turkey against the thingy. And brass by Lycott. Tourist is embracing Mebzith. The artwork relates to the status of the turkey tourist as the owner of the dwarf Mebzith. Dip wound? Dip wound. I don't like that name. In mid-spring of 296. I don't like that name at all. Dip wound. I do not want to dip into your wound. Thank you very much. That sounds distressing. I will pass. Hard pass. But yeah, I will make a 10 things you should know before you play Dwarf Fortress video, and I will do my damnedest to just make it entertaining so people who already know can watch it anyway if they want. Dip, D-I-P. Dick is not a word in the Dwarven language. But then again, neither is dwarf, so I guess, like, I don't know what you'll do with that information, but do whatever you want with it. You don't collect rainwater. There is no way to collect rainwater. Dwarves don't drink water. They don't need water unless they're injured. So you don't collect rainwater. Then explain how dwarf can get gelded. You'll watch it and learn something anyways. Yeah, that too. That is certainly a highly possible thing, is that many people will watch it and learn something anyways. You know, that's a good question. I don't actually know. I think it's just an oversight. Like, I'm pretty sure that's all that it is. But like, if I say make a aluminum statue and then click here, and then say specify new image, and then say name the image, there is no dwarf, there is no people, there is no human. Yeah, there is no elf, right? Like, they don't have words for the different creature types. Yeah, there's no Gorlak, there's no troll. If I ask them to put a specific historical figure, I can name a figure. And if I go to creature, then I can say dwarf. But there's no word for it. Death of Fish, thank you very much for the 21st month. Thank you very much for continuing to swing by the stream and say hi from time to time. Yes, I would like to remove that order. The attack. And also right now, for those of you who don't know, perhaps, DF Hack does work on the beta branch of Dwarf Fort. You just need to set DF Hack on Steam to the beta branch. So as long as you both set Steam and Dwarf Fort to the same beta branch, it'll just work. But you do have to add in the beta branch. And also, Q and Green Tea, I hope that you've had a solid week so far. And it is good to see you as always. as it has for years. Well, technically it's an alpha. Technically. But yeah, no, Dwarf Fortress has just been in public open beta forever. And no, that's not a negative thing to that one person who's like, that's unfinished video game, they shouldn't be selling it. It's fine. Calm down. I got animals I gotta eat. Like this stray llama. I will make a pen pasture down here. What looks nice? The thing that I'm building up there? The coloring? Because schist is like one of my favorite dark colors I've found as of late. Work's been making you a stress ball this week. So, squishy and good for your wrist. Well, I mean, it would just make me look like a piece of schist, now wouldn't it? Freehold Boreas. Who am I giving a dwarf to? Does Brad Pitt get another dwarf? You know, this dark burgundy color almost looks like carpet. Have we rescued Ben Affleck? No. I have not rescued Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck got kidnapped by goblins, and they can keep him. That's fine. I want Ben Affleck to become a goblin overlord, okay? Like, actually. Oh yeah, no, it is. The game is free on Bay 12. You just have to play in ASCII. That's honestly my favorite thing about Dwarf Fort is like, find me, like, Zach and Tarn are totally okay, right, with getting paid $7 million when the game launches to split, and then like getting rapidly diminishing returns after that because they've already made $7 million. Whereas other studios would be like, all right, I want to make $7 million in 2 years, so we'll release a sequel. I want to do that twice. I kind of respect Dwarf Fortress for not doing that. I mean, we could name a Matt Damon. Does Polly have a dwarf? Not currently. I don't think. Yeah, because Polly was lost their dwarf in the Great Massacre of the whatever the beast was that obliterated this. Well, we don't have Affleck anymore. He got stolen, kidnapped. So we no longer have Ben Affleck. I think we did have a Matt Damon, and Matt Damon died. Did we not? I'm pretty sure this fort had a Matt Damon as well. Although, then again, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, all the same people. They're just clones. A cook or a brewer, no beard. You know, I'm just going to sort by happiest. Happiest cook or brewer goes to Polly. Ism. Polly is back. The fire-breathing bush tit. Yes, this is correct. Matt Damon died to the fire-breathing bush tit. I couldn't remember what it was. I knew it was a fire-breathing something, but I couldn't remember what it was. She is given to rough and tumble brawling, even to the point of starting fights for no reason. She exhibits a profound politeness, except for the part where she starts fights for no reason. She is a pessimist, and she can get caught up in internal deliberations when action is necessary, and she can be very single-minded. She only rarely is moved by curiosity, and she has a greedy streak. She does not often feel lustful and finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding. Actually, chat, 10 things you wish you knew before you started playing Dwarf Fort. Would you guys consider knowing about the announcements editing file to be advanced? Because I would. But that is something that I'm sure most people playing wish knew existed before they started playing. She does not often feel lustful and finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding and thinks she is fairly important in the grand scheme of things, tends to not be swayed by emotional appeals and tends to form only tenuous emotional bonds with others, doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing her mind, and she isn't particularly ambitious and she tends to share her own experiences and thoughts with others. She scratches her head when she's thinking and she needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors at least for a time. Yeah, not really for new players, exactly. Personally, greatly respects individuals that persevere through their trials and labors. Also, I don't understand how this version of the game released without, like, an announcement for migrants arriving. Like, I don't actually know why they decided to not do that. General knowledge that such things exist would be good, maybe a pointer for further info, but no more detail than that. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what I wanted to do, is just be like, and you can watch my video on this, but I don't actually have a video on announcements because I'm lazy. She dreams of raising a family. She likes bituminous coal, gold and red flash opal, crystal glass, walrus leather, cave spider silk, alpaca wool, and the color lavender. Ducks for their quacks and 2 humps camels for their hump. And the words of the berries of serenity and the sound of the russet meadow. And when possible, prefers to consume giant flying squirrel and peach cider and pigtail seeds. And absolutely hates slugs. She has a thin body with no fat on it. Her hair is wavy. Her very long hair is braided. Her slightly rounded gold eyes are bulging. Her extremely tall ears are extremely narrow, and she has a round chin. Her head is somewhat broad, and her nose is somewhat narrow. Her hair is dark brown. Her skin is a cream. You only found out your first migration wave when one of them died? Oh, really? Because you just didn't even know that they'd showed up? Let's do 25 charcoal. When the amount of logs is greater than 10. And the amount of refined coal is less than 20. Math. There's a hobo stick on the left? Hobo stick? Oh, you mean the notification that they're arriving? Yeah, but they're, like, impossible to spot. Apparently my gem setter failed that mood and went stark raving mad. Welp. Yeah, but that's not a notification. Migrants in all previous versions was always a full screen pop-up. It was always like a full screen, like, pause the game pop-up in previous versions. This is the first version of the game where it isn't by default, which is weird. At least to me, it's weird. Okay, you're making pig iron. Let's go to furnaces and go another smelter. Cavern dwellers once again. Oh, and trade caravan. Ah! We've got Batman. Ton found a Batman. So did my manager. Just a single individual Batman who does have a tower cap spear and a wooden shield. Damned be the Batman. Fortunately, I've nerfed them into oblivion, so I'm not too worried. It's fighting with a bunch of dwarves, and then the military found it. And it flew apart quite quickly. I found its head, separated from its body. I don't see any other injured dwarves. We're going to follow the military, though. And there's a ghost. The ghostly leatherworker Thigh Cut is haunting the fort. We killed the Batman. We did kill the Batman. Adam West. If you haven't seen it, go look at the Batman page on the DF Wiki. It's one of the greatest things on the internet, in my opinion. You got your first migrant wave, and there's a necromancer doctor. Should you be worried? Necromancers do not res bodies unless they are threatened, right? So I would recommend you do not put that necromancer into your military,
Woot woot.
because if they end up in combat, you're gonna have to kill all the baddies 3 or 4 times. That being said, just having a necromancer doctor by itself, they're a perfectly normal dwarf that lives forever, basically. Freeways! Thank you very much for that Prime sub for a 29th month. That number getting big, dude. That's a non-trivial amount of sub time, so thank you very much. I am your liaison from the Mountain Homes. Let's discuss your situation, says Brodoon. And Brodoon says, merit deserves reward. I come empowered to establish this colony as official land of our realm. Can you imagine the trade wagons? There, of course, are responsibilities, and nobility must live well. I think I'm going to wait one more season, because I'm not actually happy with the fort as of right now. But we did just get a migrant wave, so got to see if there's any adequate stabbers that just moved in. I'm just looking for dwarves with fighting skills, because generally dwarves that already have some fighting skills that come in as migrants either were A, military dwarves in my previous forts, or B, gonna be fine in the job anyway. They, however, can defeat any foe given enough preparation time. And they target the dwarf with the highest comedian stat first. This is a weak and sickly horse. You could do better. But yeah, generally if you get necromancer migrants, it just means that your faction has a lot of necromancers in it. Which generally means you're an eviler faction, probably. But that's, you know, part of the fun, right? Sometimes it's good to be bad. Yeah, we can just sell all this. I think we're going to need to make everybody new sets of clothing soon. Actually, the other thing I want to search for... Oh, man, I guess I can't... Can't search for large clothing. Oh, I have an artifact millstone. Forgot about this. A 100 Z level gap, which is the first where they were also low. Nothing wrong with minecarts. Minecarts are pretty easy once you get like the basics sorted. And they let you do funky stuff like this. Which is all sorts of fun. I'm actually just looking at how much copper and stuff I have. 65 copper. 204 charcoal. Do they not? Ragnarok? I'd swear that they did. I mean, I wouldn't personally, but... It's a pity you can't search by it, though. Investments are open, though, chat. I do miss the old search options. Used to have so much more. This is going to be a pretty small trade set, I think. Now I just need Brookley to wake up and get over here and trade. That's all that we really need now. Get over here, you lazy Brookley. At some point this week. Or year. I need more coffee in me. This dwarf is taking quite the nap, jeez. I will say this. I've seen a lot of people who, like, took a break from Dwarf Fort after the launch window appear to be coming back now, which is cool. It's nice to see people coming back to Dwarf Fort after taking a break. Okay, I don't know what a Thomol is, but I want to buy one. Okay, I'm actually going to... Yeah, back out of this. Let's bring in cut gems. And I'm also going to get some gem cutting jobs rolling. I think up here is my gem cutter shops. Yep. Cut gems and cut gems. I'd swear that I've seen them wearing, like, Goblin stuff that's been dropped. I mean, they might just not wear them. I know they can't make them because they're not allowed to butcher sentients, but I don't think that stops them from wearing them. But I could be wrong. I still learn things about this game pretty frequently, so. Okay, I'm going to make copper bookcase. Let's just do 15 copper bookcases. Let's also do copper tables and copper thrones. 10 and 10 should be fine. All right, so the value of this, I'd like to buy that. They bring any books? They did not bring books. I am disappointed in the lack of books. They did, however, bring plenty of plump helmets. Buy the fish, leaves and fruit. The piles of meat. And I would buy the steel anvil, but I can't quite afford it. So instead, I will simply trade. They seem pleased with the trading, and that is more than enough for me. So this could become a library. That or this lower half here could become a library. Chat, what do you think? Should I decorate up this lower half here and make it into a library? And then make this into a temple or guild hall later? Or should I make this and this room over here into the library? Yeah, library made of copper, basically. Because I could do either. Either would work. I mean, currently this is a temple. Not much of a temple, but... You guys want the big room to be the library? Well, it's also going to have an upper floor, so... We could do something kind of fun with this. Could go here. We could pop up to there using schist in 2 spots. The colors feel very cozy. Yeah, we could do that. Although I could just make all 3 zones into library. Have like an outside writing zone here. I'm gonna have like a quiet reading room up here, and then like book storage and down here. Or we could put another dining hall up here. You did take a break for like 2 months and started back up last week? Or was it this week? You don't know, time flies. I feel like a lot of people played a lot of Dwarf Fort like December into January, and then that was kind of where a lot of people dropped off, was in January. It's kind of what it seemed like. Integer. What kind of dwarf would you like? Now, did they place these floor pieces twice? If I remove all of these. How many do I have left? Yeah, they absolutely place them twice if you do that. So be careful about that. Any military available? Yes. Can't guarantee they'll be great, but there is military available. I also need to queue up 10 steel shields. But just dwarf with beard and military or dwarf without beard and military is the question, because I got these 2 wrestlers that just joined. I got some that are just like pissed, like Lenarno is not happy. Same with Solon. But I got Stinthad. I got Aerith, and I got Usob. Any available spear dwarf? I'm not making spears. These are all going to be swords dwarves. So, I mean, there's one mace dwarf, but that's just because they were a mace dwarf before they got here. Can you move in the library? As in, like, move around? Yes. Live there? No. I'll go with Stinthad. Stinthad. She... Actually, Integer, don't you have a dwarf? Or am I crazy? Yeah, you do. You have this dwarf. Integer the third. Yeah, she's always in love with somebody. Rarely develops positive feelings. So I can refund that dwarf if you like. Often jealous, can be very happy and optimistic. It's often nervous. Sometimes feels lustful. She finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding after giving birth to a boy. Still dreams of mastering a skill. Sure, refund it. Okay. And that should refund it. This one might have been gifted to you, actually. I know you had one in Danger Caves. Because I think Integer 2 was in Danger Caves. Unless they moved. They may have moved. Did they move? Nope. You moved. Because you were formerly a member of the Mean Angry Abyss of Beer. And you were a militia dwarf in the Mean Angry Abyss of Beer. I could give you a squad if you want to be in the military. No, it doesn't reset the cooldown. That's by design. Because, like, you were a military dwarf previously, so might as well give you your own squad. Yeah, actually, you're still technically a part of the Machines of Shielding. Yep, you killed, what, 2 Forgotten Beasts and a Goblin? So, yeah, we'll get you back in there. get over there and start training. And you go grab a spear. Although the question is, what kind of spear are you using? Because depending on the spear, I may have to remove it. Silver spear. Well, not a fan of that, but it's got to be just what we had available. Of rock pots being under tools. Top comment, hopefully drawing attention to chains. Well, I mean, if you're concerned about rock pots being under tools, don't tell them that books are also considered tools. We might give them an aneurysm. That's the one that bothers me, is that is that books are considered tools. You like sandbags being considered furniture? Well, I mean, it's a buildable... Like, actually, can you still build bags? I don't think you can still build bags. You used to be able to build bags. Like, half the time you used to, like... Because they used to be in the same build menu as cabinets and considered the same as cabinets and treated the same as cabinets. So, like, you'd be just, you know, doing your normal Dwarf Fort things, building stuff, building like 40 bedrooms, and then you'd realize that half of your bedrooms didn't actually have cabinets in them and they all had bags. Or maybe it was chests. It was one of them. Books are communication tools. They're learning tools. Well, I mean, lie does lie about many things. They're definitely lying about that. Bags and chests were bags, chests, and coffers were the same. Yes, yeah, that sounds right. A bag is just a cloth coffer. I mean, anybody who's like had shitty roommates will know that a bag is just a dresser that you put on the floor. I mean, come on. Garbage bag operates exactly the same as any other clothing storage device. Yes, of course you're dehydrated. Also, did we not... Okay, I guess I just didn't assign enough. I've got so many coffins. And so many haven't been assigned. I think that got it done. What are you using? Oh, it's a Terracat blowgun. Copper does look nice on the bookshelves, which is why I'm using them. Copper looks real nice on furniture in general. Like, just in general, copper furniture looks real nice. Although there's already plump helmets spawn on these. Already. Floor operates as clothing storage as well. Yep, so does the dryer. Like, why ever actually take your clothing out of the dryer when you could just leave it in the dryer all the time? Significantly more efficient use of space. I mean, come on. I think I've been single and lived alone for too long. Is the actual reality of that. I might just make this into another dining hall because I'm seeing dwarves trying to sit and eat there already, which I don't really want them doing. Turns out I got lots of stuff made out of chert. I'm very confused about this statement, Nutty. Very confused about this statement. So you know what? I won't ask. So it stays around regardless. Well, I'm proud of you. Rejecting adulthood like that. I think I'm running into dwarves that don't have bedrooms again. Yep, plenty. Okay, let's go sort this out. I also have no beds. Let's get the rest of these all set up with schist. Which I'm running low on because I just built a library out of it, but that's fine. How do you check if dwarves don't have a bed? Select a bedroom, click the plus. Some migrants have arrived despite the danger. Click the plus sign and it says they have quarters. You scroll down to see the ones that don't have quarters. So that's how you get the approximate number. And for some reason, hunters will just never claim quarters. For some reason. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. They just don't. But also, like, vampires will never claim quarters. Children will claim quarters when they become adults, though. But Canadian children generally just claim loonies because they're worth more. Ba-dum, psh. All right. Let's get some beds placed. They want a sarcophagus instead of a bed. I wish that were the case, but they don't. When there's channeled areas like that, or only when they're fighting and dodging? If there's water on it, yeah. Or if there's a lot of characters that they're having to crawl underneath, yeah. I was having problems with a fort for a while where creatures were just like mysteriously tripping and falling. And eventually the only like conclusion that I could come to is that there must be ghosts that I can't see. And to this day, I'm still convinced that if a lot of like neutral humans or something die on your map, they can come back as ghosts and they don't affect you. I'm convinced of this. I don't actually know if that's true, but I'm convinced of it because I made memorials for every single unit that died on the map, including ones that weren't part of my faction, and then the tripping stopped. Also, yes, toonies are better, but harder to claim because parents hide them. I think I'm going to hotkey this to here. There we go. Speeding things up. Might as well just cram a carpenter into here. Closer to these wooden logs down here. We'll see you later, Dr. Rick. Oh. Tekid the glassmaker's been possessed. Well, that's concerning because I have no glass. Guess I can make a glassmaker's furnace and just kind of hope that somebody in the area has stuff. You down here. Let's go to equip. Assign uniform metal. Reset everything. Get everybody new shields. An integer. Going to reset your uniform too. You go get a better shield. We're still making pig iron. Let's make steel bars and do that first on repeat. I can't say that Tarn has mentioned it, but who knows? We had a dwarf die of dehydration, which kind of blows, but is what it is. Upton spear dwarf, swords dwarf. Operation of lanterns is my squad. Making sure there isn't any dwarves in different squads from previous forts. Machines of shielding, there's one. Okay, well, let's throw in Eusteth. You're the novice hammer dwarf. Let's jump down to adequate wrestler. Put those two in there. Well, I mean, vampires don't sleep, and in order to claim a bedroom, you have to sleep. So, yes, that is an accurate assumption. It is, in fact, accurate that they can't sleep without a place to sleep. But also don't claim one because they don't have to sleep. They do, however, eat things while they're sleeping, so they're still very much tied to sleeping, but they just don't need to. We'll see when we see a booze hammer. Let's do that. And we're going to make a new library. The Helmed Vault. What if we, instead of calling it the Helmed Vault, we call it the... Can I not call it the Copper? I guess not. The Copper Vault. That works. And now we can read Cause and Effect, a brief introduction, a copy. And it is a well-crafted parchment scroll encrusted with well-crafted baguette-cut red tourmalines and encircled with bands of rose-cut red spindles. The rollers are made from lemonite, and the item is finely crafted has a finely crafted image of tall crosses in talc. Written on the item is a manual entitled Cause and Effect, a brief introduction, authored by Ast. It concerns the causes of historical events. The writing is utterly disjointed, yet bubbles over with cheerfulness. Overall, the prose is amateurish at best, and we have a petition. 2 of them, even. Hey, look at this! I definitely didn't say this was going to happen. What's up, Not? If you still get migrants on 1x1 embarks, size of map doesn't matter as to whether or not you get migrants. Weavers are unionizing? You say it like it's a bad thing. The Musical Hall, a Weavers Guild, can be built and furnished. Well, I have a place for it. Up here. Playing for years, 0 migrants? Something else is going on, but map size doesn't matter. There's plenty of things that can stop you from getting migrants, but no idea. Are you the mountain home? Like, what's your population at? Because, like, if you're stuck at like a higher population, you might just be at your unit cap, or alternatively, your faction could be in a civil war. Go to the world map, go to civilizations, and hover over top of your own civilization. Which for us is the accidental ceiling. What does it say? Yeah, that means you're in a civil war. If it says that they're importing terror and you're exporting vengeance, then you're at war with your own faction. And that'll stop you from getting migrants. But yeah, no, I knew that the Weavers would unionize when I built like tons of Weaver shops down in the basement. Like it's kind of a given. You don't. You play a new faction. Faction's dead. There's no way to remedy it. There might be a command in DF hack, but I don't know. Yeah, I've certainly had factions that I've loved playing, and then it's just like, well, you're in Civil War now, which basically means you get 2 migrant waves, and then that's it. And then you'll get attacked by your own civ. I don't know if that'll come in with the second half of Villains, but we are supposed to get better diplomacy options at some point, which should theoretically remedy it. But yeah, I don't know. My biggest issue with Dwarf Fort for a very long time has been the lack of any kind of diplomacy once a war has started. Yeah, that's also another thing that could do it. Because the other thing that I asked was basically what Shaku just asked, which is like, is it possible that you set your population cap and forgot? Or like, did you settle on an island? It doesn't matter if you're neighboring them, but if like there's water blocking access, then that'll do it. If you're on the other side of a mountain range, it doesn't matter how close you are. Mountains are impassable by migrants. So if you're like in a circular mountain range with a cool valley in the middle, you can't reach your own faction. I'm trying to think of other things that could stop it, but those are the main ones that come to mind. It's like 3rd migrant wave? I don't know. I've definitely had 2 migrant waves get me up to 50 plenty of times. But yeah, it is a weirdly specific number. It's normally like 52 or like 48. It doesn't generally land on the 0. Hello, Manticore Alpha. How's things? All right, so we still need to level up the Fabulous Coven's temple as well. But we'll just get this Weaver Hall done first. Let's just set this as a Weaver Hall just so that I have it, and then we can go about making it more valuable. New guild hall. Weaver. There it is. And then the other one that we need is the Fabulous Coven, which is this one. So the Fabulous Coven requires more value now. Huh. Apparently there's just 2 holes in the floor down there. I was like, those look unfinished. Nope, they're literally just holes in the floor. Let's throw you in. Give them a gold pillar. Give them a aluminum pillar. Oh, you mean like give away resources to like some strange source and then they take them off your map to air quotes build a thing? I mean, you can already build a bridge across an ocean. Like that's already a mechanic you can do. It's just a matter of doing it. But yeah, that is kind of a neat concept, Manticore. Like on Eastern Standard Time? Is this like a work thing that you have to do? That seems kind of crappy to have to swap. Unless you like waking up later / earlier, in which case then yay. Being forced into a new schedule sucks, but if it's a schedule you like, then that seems fine. We'll let them do that. Check over here. They're still building them floors. Well, we've increased the value a little bit, but we got a ways to go. It says that you have 0 trade agreement. Okay, so they might just not be accessible, because by that, it means you're not in a civil war, fortunately. So you're not at war with your home civs, so somehow they're just not able to get there. Have you had traders from your home civ, like people who've come to trade? No? Okay, now that's weird. My guess is they just can't access you for some reason. Something is blocking them from getting to you. I don't know what it is without seeing your world map without seeing a screenshot of your world map. But from what I can tell, it sounds like they just can't get to you. Like there's something blocking them. And that's the only real idea that I can come to. Image of 4 amulets, and this one has an image of a dwarf. Nice simple images. I don't know if chat has any more ideas, but I'm kind of stumped. Let's get those built. Another force that is dark and vile has arrived. I don't want to parlay. We're going to send the squads up. But yeah, it sounds like you're cut off from your... If you want to take a screenshot and post it in the DF Talk room over on my Discord, Naughty Dubs, of your world map, and maybe we could diagnose it further, but at this point, it just kind of sounds like you've somehow managed to lock your dwarves away from your main civ. Here come the military. We got a spear dwarf up front wielding a bronze spear. We got Elfie Bean right behind it, so we'll follow Elfie Bean. Yeah, the not getting trade caravans part really makes it sound like they're cut off. Bolts have been, well, arrows have been loosed. Spagus is terrified while in conflict. The dwarves are moving up closer and seem to be in combat immediately. Kogoth is bleeding, though. Bleeding quite badly, in fact. What happened to you, Kogoth? Or was it Kogsak, not Kogoth? Yeah, it was Kogsak. Jumps away from a flying bolt, stabs the goblin, blocks the flying. Ah, he got scratched. Left leg got scratched. Well, that'll be fine. You can work through that, dwarf. They go running forward. There is a dog taking part in the action as well. Goblin has been cut into pieces by Integer, it looks like. And Integer is terrified while in conflict. Well, I'm sure that's fine. More dwarves moving forward. A goblin seems to have been knocked off the edge and has landed, like, mostly fine, which is kind of impressive. Meaning I should probably tell a squad to go deal with this goblin before this goblin gets away. Rock, salt, and quartzite. You're going to have the prettiest fortress ever. You're going to be very pretty in pink. And Gabi runs away. Okay. What color's Alunite? I didn't quote it because I don't actually know what, or remember off the top of my head what color that is. Well, we can melt some more things down. Let's see how we're doing for blocks. Or no, not blocks, bars. Got 43 silver, 74 copper, 11 pig iron. Okay, I guess I just need to smelt hematite, the red stuff. We can get more iron so that we can make steel. We need iron. It's a deeper purple pink? Okay, well, I did say pink and purple. Gotcha. I still can't believe that some people don't like the new colors for Dwarf Fort. Like, there are some people who genuinely don't like it. And it's like, man, why would you say no to more colors? Like, more creative options. It's like the best thing. How in the world could you possibly say no to that? You get disappointed when you don't have pretty colors. I mean, it's a pretty good thing to get disappointed about because in the grand scheme of things, it's quite minor. All right, well, this up here, 1040. Oopsies. But yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I mean, I want to have at least like one or two fun colors. Like even sandstone has a really nice color to it. It's like this is a very like deep, rich burgundy kind of colored fort. Instead of some of the brighter colors, but it still looks pretty. Like up here in the middle here, I'm going to place some sandstone because it looks great. Actually, you know what? Let's just do like the middle section there, like this bit. The reason you see some people hating on microcline is because it used to be so bright it would actually just straight up hurt your eyes. To the point, and there was an era of Dwarf Fort where you couldn't edit the colors, so people would get mad when they got microcline and just like refuse to build them, and would refuse to build stuff with microcline, which is one of my favorite eras of Dwarf Fortress like fan lore. The Forgotten Beast Neriu has come, a large harrier with external ribs. It has fan-like antenna and it is ravening. Its spring green feathers are patchy. Beware its deadly spit. Okay. Where is you? Okay. Has you killed anything? No kills? Okay. Somewhat quarrelsome and curious and eager to learn. Quarrelsome, eh? Curious and eager to learn by squishing things to death. Very happy and enthusiastic, doesn't often feel envious of others, and is quick to anger. Quick to anger, eh? Set the squads to stun. Time to add to the meat pit. Yep, and this one can fly. And is flying, but is bleeding. It appears that Arab the wrestler is beneath it, stabbing upwards. The flying critter is now heavily bleeding. The dwarves are stabbing upward. Lenarno's in the fighting. And appears to be bashing... nope, that's all Goblin. Bashes the Forgotten Beast in the lower body with an iron mace, bruising the muscle. I should make you a silver mace. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make, like, silver mace. Let's make, like, 4. The creature keeps... Uh-oh. Yeah, no, that's not gonna last very long. That's not gonna last very long at all. The dwarves appear to be cleaning up after the fight. Who got the kill there? Wonder if it was Godin. Punches the Forgotten Beast in the left wing. Swords Dwarf slashed the Forgotten Beast in the right foot. Seems like it was a Swords Dwarf. But I don't care too much. Easy critter dies quickly. Let's see if its corpse gets used for food. It should. Because this dwarf is carrying it to be put in a stockpile. We'll see. All right. I need to check on my silk. I'm also suddenly very hungry, so I might go get lunch in a minute. Oh, you know. It's like, I think we have a surplus of silk now. Yeah. I think we have a good supply of silk. All right. Well, we're definitely going to have to make everybody in the fort new clothing soon. That's going to need to happen. Sandwich. But yes, sandwich happens first. So I'm going to let you guys follow Geshu to the cheesemaker. Silk robes for everyone and hoods. And hoods, please. Unless I want to do caps for once. But chat, I'm going to go take a real quick break. I will be back in under 5 minutes. I'm just going to go quickly eat something. I have rice today, so I will not be eating it at my computer because rice and keyboard is bad. So I'm going to go eat some rice, and I will return in under 5 minutes. So I will run an ad break, but aside from that, you'll just be watching this dwarf do their thing. Now's a good time to post a round of beers in the chat, and if you happen to have sound commands, please use them and entertain the chat room. And if anybody tunes in and goes, "Where's Streamer?" please just tell them Streamer getting food, and we'll be back momentarily. All right? So, with all that being said, BRB friends. Water hardens too. Yeah, so do most dudes in the morning, but like that's besides the point.
Let's take a lovely fruit, the tomato. Remove everything that's good from it, the seeds, the vitamins, the nutrients, everything that's good about it, and just jam it full of shit, garbage, shit sugar, and put it in a shit bottle that sounds like shit when you put it on your shit. It's shit! Stop eating ketchup!
race, okay? We went to car racing.
Over here, he has a sword!
Primeval's up, you fuck.
Hold on, what? The glass maker made something that wasn't made of glass? Huh. I mean, you can post it in any channel, but if you post it in DF Talk, I'm more likely to see it. Oh, so you're like literally in the middle. Yeah, that's really weird. Glass is their day job. Certainly seems like they have an interesting hobby. But yeah, if that's your fort, like in between those, like if that's where you settled, that is odd. That's not in fort mode. Is that for a fresh embark? Like, have you started a new embark? Like, did you retire it? But yeah, that is weird. Like, by all accounts, you should be getting, like, migrants there. And traders. But if you're not getting traders or migrants, something weird's going on. You retired it? Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting migrants or traders, that's bizarre. That is not normal activity. Okay, so Locum Tekud Adus, the glassmaker, has created Edon Lights, a Kilonite amulet, and offers it to the Bloody Dance of Kings. That's weird because, like, normally a glassmaker would, like, want a glassmaker shop. So I assumed they were just going to go nuts. Like, I'd written this dwarf off for death, but, I mean, I'll take a fancy amulet. That's lovely. But yeah, I mean, what I would do is I would start a new fort in the same world, Naughty Dubs, and build a trading depot and see if you can, like, trade with your faction in a new fort. As long as if you're playing as part of the same faction, your dwarves from your tiny fort that you were building should show up at the new fort. So you'll still have the same characters around and you get to try again. In my opinion, you should get migrants there in that area, especially on that road. Third time? Really? The first two you didn't? Well, if it doesn't work the third time, then yeah, I would say you've struck out. But that sucks, dude. I'm not sure what's causing that. This is a Kilonite amulet. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with oval Kilonite cabochons and cushion cut plume ogates, and decorated with llama wool and encircled with bands of pigtail and forgotten beast bone. On the item is an image adorned with hanging rings of llama leather and llama bone, and menaces with spikes of Kilonite. On the item is an image of a shield and adventuring. I'm going to approve this as well. Let's get these spaces done. I think this one right here can just have that new amulet. And then this one over here will continue fancying up because it needs a little bit more work. Just elves and goblins? Yeah, just the adventurers coming to visit. Yeah, like I said, that's bizarre. Like that shouldn't work that way. Unless like you're not trading with your, like if you don't train with your faction at all, that'll happen. Or trade with your faction at all. That'll happen. But you said that you're trading, so. Or that you're just not getting traders. Which might have something to do with it. I don't know why you wouldn't get traders. You should be getting traders. It's party time, though. Is gonna start charging for API access? I don't use any third-party apps for Reddit. I just use the native Reddit app. But I don't know if I'm in the minority there. Yeah, I don't know. Reddit's made a lot of changes over the last few years that really bothers me. I mean, Reddit is like one of the few social media services, if you want to call it that has actually like run away with the idea of NFTs and nobody noticed. Like, genuinely, it's kind of wild. Like, you'd think that people would notice, but, like, apparently when Reddit does NFTs, nobody notices. Which is odd to me. Welcome back. Can you use Gift a Dwarf to gift yourself a dwarf? It kind of goes against the point of the whole aspect, so I'd kind of prefer you didn't. I think it's because they just didn't call them NFTs. Crack. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. Yep, I'm playing on the new beta branch. Unless you're asking Naughty Dubs. In which case, I don't know if they're playing on the new beta branch or not. Trimcoff, though, did redeem a dwarf. What kind of dwarf would you like, Trim? And I can't help you with that, unfortunately. Like, if you didn't get a dwarf because your internet crapped out, that's not necessarily a problem. That sucks, but better luck next time. This is like the one problem I have with like having redemptions like this is chat can make it very decidedly not fun when people start complaining. It's like, this is the best option I have. I don't really have a better option for how to distribute dwarves in a fair way. It's not perfectly fair, and I'm sorry, and it's not going to change. So if you don't like the system, I apologize. That's all I can really say. Well, I'm not saying you are, but people can absolutely get upset about it, and people have. Beard or no beard, you don't mind. Trimkoff's first. Death, let me know who I'm giving a dwarf to afterwards. You'll just get the happiest dwarf. I think, unless you were more specific. I just read beard or no beard, you don't really care. So. Sure, but I don't get, like, tone of voice or anything, right? Stellanitis? So it makes it decidedly not fun for me. All right, you are Godin Machine Shin. Machine Shin. You are of an incredibly calm demeanor after being confined in 297. After being confined? Were you imprisoned somewhere? Dislikes obligations and will try to avoid being bound by them, is conflicted by this for more than one reason. She does not generally seek retribution for her past wrongs, and she has an overbearing personality, is a friendly individual, doesn't try to get things done perfectly, is brave in the face of imminent danger, and is slow to trust others, can handle stress, and has a noticeable lack of perseverance, finds this troubling since she values perseverance. She is quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture, needs alcohol to get through the working day, and likes working outdoors, and grumbles mildly at crappy weather. Dreams of creating a great work of art. Personally is somewhat put off by trade and commerce, believes it is important to conceal emotions and refrain from complaining, and does not care about fairness. She likes hematite, rose gold, light yellow diamond, grimling bone, and the color dark brown. Bracelets and coins and brutes of flame for their bloated appearance and the sight of the prim sheen, and when possible prefers to consume hagfish and prickleberry wye and bumblebee honey. Description-wise is thin. She has little fat. Tall ears, fused-lobed, close-set, round cobalt eyes that are protruding, and long eyebrows that are high, and her head is broad. Her eyelashes are short, and her hair is burnt sienna, and her long hair is tied in a ponytail. Her skin is copper. A beekeeper has been found dead. Excuse me? There a Batman blowgunner in my base? Nope. Well, I suppose that just is what it is. So, Death needs a dwarf. Death. Who am I giving a dwarf to? Your dwarf goes to Elfie Bean. Elfie Bean already has one. She's in the military. I don't want anything that ties Twitch chat to my game. Naming the dwarves is half the fun. If it automatically named them, then I would just have to go dig them up and read the description anyway. It doesn't really help me. Integer Javar also has one. What we could do is I could hit you, go to the units list, and I could be like Aegis, Bucket Glass, Bonesaw, Broccoli, Calcium Crypt, Corvius Suede, Darius Cardron, Fly Kick, Freehold Boreas, Gimli, Integer Devourer, Jerry Gord, Lenarno, MB Audio, Pandasaurus Rex, Polly, Ryo Shincat, Stone, aka Seashore's Wall, and Trimkoff and True Freak all have dwarves. Nutty Wombat. Okay, what kind of dwarf am I giving Nutty Wombat? That can just be from all of chat. Maybe a hunter? Could definitely do a weaver. Got tons of those. Very busy. Full-time job these days. Hey, look. My captain of the guard is no longer pissed. That's good. You did hunt when you was younger? Well, we'll give you a hunter. I don't actually think you have hunters turned on, so I will give you hunting. I will permit you to hunt. Nutty Wombat is a complete scatterbrain, unable to focus on a single matter for more than a passing moment. Probably needs Adderall. Tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects, and does not easily fall in love and rarely develops positive feelings. No, this is not a savage biome. You will be okay. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and he tends to avoid any physical confrontations. He works to square this natural tendency with his respect of martial prowess. He doesn't seek out and he doesn't respect. He doesn't seek out excitement and is moved by art and natural beauty. He is troubled by this since he dislikes the natural world, does not find obligations confining, though he is conflicted by this for more than one reason and can handle stress. When he's thinking hard, he has a habit of licking his lips. He dreams of mastering a skill and personally is offended by leisure time and leisurely living, respects commerce and those that engage in trade, and values peace over war and dreams of mastering a skill, obviously. He likes shale bilin and pink jade, crystal, glass, greaves, and totems, and donkeys for their stubbornness. Never let this dwarf be a royal, or I'll have to make totems. And donkeys for their stubbornness, and monitor lizard men for their intelligence, and the words of the berries of serenity, and the sight of the musical blossom, and when possible prefers to consume pear cider, and absolutely hates slugs. And you're off to go hunt. But yeah, no, it's not a savage biome, so you shouldn't just... Everybody in chat's like, oh, hey, I need to go take my meds. Well, I guess that's good. Go take your meds, chat. I wonder if this is... Yeah, it is. This is so weird. It's like we have two different biomes, because like this was a lake, but that forgotten beast running around in it melted, or not melted, but evaporated the whole thing. Clayborn, thank you much for the raid. Yeah, no, I don't want to automate any of that. I mean, I think you kind of can using DF Hack and DF Therapist, like automate the naming of dwarves. I don't want to do that. Half the fun of it for me is like manually doing it. Like quite literally, half the fun of it for me is just like manually naming dwarves. I know it's not always the most straightforward process, but... But how's things, C1 Iborn? KV boar is starving. Oh. And there's a KV boar I need to pasture. Ah. How goes the fort? I mean, it's going. We'd never have had the fact that Ben Affleck got kidnapped yet. And also a streamer would have... Oh. It's a rotten Batman. We're going to get rid of the Batman. We're also going to get rid of the Batman's stuff because they just dropped wood. The Batmen don't have very effective weaponry, I find. But fort goes okay. How was your stream today, Clay One? C1 Iborn. Cough. Clay One born? I don't know where I'm going with that. You hate... I too hate the Batman. Like, unironically, though, he is one of my least favorite superheroes. I'm not one to really just charge for or cheer for a wealthy dude who just wins because he has all of the money. Not exactly a hero I like to aspire to be like. Let's reset armor. See what we get up to. So it's hard for you to gauge how the various traits affect the game. Well, like as an example, a dwarf that doesn't seek out excitement is less likely to go train in the military. That's just one. Every single one of the little traits, as like irrelevant as they sound on the surface, has an effect on the way the dwarves behave. So it doesn't really matter how simple they seem. Cavern dwellers, and it takes me to a giant olm. But where are the cavern dwellers? I just see a giant olm. Unless it's literally notifying me about the giant olm. Wonder if they're riding on the giant olm? Or relatively intuitive, like if you have half a second to think, you're probably not going to be wildly wrong. Yeah, well, like a dwarf that handles stress is going to take less points of stress when they're in stressful situations, right? A dwarf that is heavily affected by stress will take more stress points when they're in stressful situations. They can both handle stressful situations, it's just one of them will handle it better than the other one, right? Like, just as an example with this dwarf. Truly fulfilled by assisting those in need. The best thoughts this dwarf will get is anything doctoring related. Not the type to fall in love or even develop positive feelings. Doesn't need to spend as much time in the tavern socializing. Is very comfortable around others that have a different appearance or culture. Less likely to get into arguments with characters from other, like, species. So, like, elves and animal people, this character is less likely to get into fights with them. Does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. Is not going to remember fights and arguments as much. Tends to assume that the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass. I'm not entirely sure what that one does. A noticeable lack of perseverance means that they will just drop everything and run away if a scary thing is happening, more likely. Tendency towards forming deep emotional bonds with others. When this dwarf does talk with people, they're more likely to fall in love. It tends to avoid crowds, doesn't hang out in the tavern to begin with. Occasionally overindulges, so occasionally will drink too much and vomit. Slightly more likely to fight in that instance, and can handle stress. Most of them are just like whether or not they get into arguments with things. Weird. Did it just like call the... Because it wasn't an agitated giant olm or anything. The one I wasn't sure about. Tends to assume that the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass. I don't actually know what that one affects. Maybe it was the giant olm. Odd. Never seen it give me that notice for like an olm before. Might as well explore the rest of these spots since we're down here. Oh. Oh no. That's a bunch of amphibian men. Spearmen, even. They have copper. There's one in the hallway. I should probably make traps. What do you think, chat? It appears that Zuglar, the Weaver, down here. Uh-oh. We also found Batman. Or maybe that's just a giant bat. Oh, nope, there is a Batman there. Well, we found Batman and Amphibianman. Fortunately, Erub and Usteth are here. And are dealing with the critters pretty effectively. Yeah, I think it's time to build traps. Uh-oh, somebody just died. There's actually kind of a lot of them in here. Well, the dwarves are just like piling in and appear to just be forcing them down the ramps. We did lose Polly, Muthcat, Tun, and Lolar. They seem to just do the good old-fashioned dwarven charge where everybody just kind of ran in. Batman teamed up with... maybe not Killer Croc, but there's definitely a lot of blowgunners here. Well, I'm going to send the military down to here to deal with the Batmen, because there's a whole flock of them. I have one unconstructed coffin right now, so let's just make... let's make rock coffins, and let's just... yeah, sure, 10's fine. Darren, what's up? It's good to see you. Game is unpaused. Military should be en route. Assuming that's a reachable location. Go down, the spear dwarf was found dead. What? Where was that? Also, it seems the bodies are automatically forbid again. I need to stop that. Okay, wait, what? There. The military has arrived. Elfie Bean is up front, fighting with those pesky Batmen. We're playing Batman Ton. There is a bunch of them. They're all up on the upper level still. If we go stand up here, we should be able to just clear the rest of them pretty handedly. All right, aside from a few unfortunate losses. Isn't a group of bats a cauldron? I mean, I did call them a flock. You're probably right. I don't know the correct term for a group of bats, if I'm being honest. My Crafts Dwarf's Hall needs a grand hall now, which is something. All right, well, let's get some coffins made. Colony, Cauldron, Camp, or Cloud? Crows still have the coolest group name. Murder. Crows are cool. I like crows. Wait, hold on. Baboons are a Congress? Okay, that's awesome. I love that. And a miner has been taken by a Fey mood. You know, it's kind of funny. I didn't really say it as when I started going into building this fort, but this fort kind of has like a similar restriction to danger caves. I'm just kind of doing it absent-mindedly without really thinking about it, leaving everything open. Well, Congress of Baboons is great. That is really amusing. All right, let's get these coffins done. A crash of rhinoceros? Really? That one I find kind of hard to believe, but I will believe it. Just for the sake of I'm too lazy to look it up. Also, the only proper crash is a bandicoot, so I just would like to submit that as formal protest. Murder of Crows is my favorite. All right, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so these should all be enough. With a dual wielding undead dwarf in a wooden set being 3 days away from a major necromancer faction? Where are you seeing that? Pa 90? It's always a good sign when you see somebody is fighting. It's like, oh, even the game doesn't know. Well, we can get them all buried now. A migraine? I mean, that I can't dispute. That's truthful. Okay. All caught up. Hi, Bucket Glass. I booted you out of the military because your dwarf was too depressed. All right, well, we can get rid of all of these amphibian guys now. All right, well, getting rid of all of them. All right, so something I got to do is I got to make this area safer. Because right now this area is not very safe. It's quite dangerous currently, in fact. A comedy of boxers? That's an odd one. I think we're going to work on the middle cavern layer first, this one down here. Although actually what I should be doing is just locking this one. I think I should just lock this door. Is there even any dwarves running around out here? That is the question. There really isn't any reason for them to be. Okay, so I think the plan is to just lock this one for now. Yeah, if a crash of rhinos is real, which I'm inclined to believe you guys, that is very funny. I'm a little worried for when I finally start hitting the aquifer layers down here. It's going to become very obnoxious to dig these out very quickly. Okay, well, we can go down one further before we start running into that. This was started by calling Batman a flock. It's like, they're not a flock, okay. I understand. They're definitely not a flock, chat. I will never mischaracterize Batmen again by referring to them as a flock. You can have my word of that on that. They are definitely a cult going forward. Which is also not correct, but still kind of funny to me. You should have more faith in me. Twitch, you never not disappoint. Twitch never not disappoints. All right, I'm going to start making menacing copper spikes. I think is what we're gonna do. Holly Golly, thank you very much for the raid. What were you up to today? Was it dwarfy things or other things on this fine afternoon? A collective noun for a group of streamers? Immature. Unemployed. I don't know. A cry for attention, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I like that I'm just willingly accepting that chat's just calling me an idiot right now. I'm sorry that my people disgust you so, chat. Am I correct in stating that catapults don't friendly fire still? I mean, I would just list myself as depressed. A walk of snails? Why? Why is a group of snails called a walk? How? Yeah, exactly. How did we get there, English? A walk is a fly without wings. Well, I mean, yeah, they wouldn't be called a run. I mean, obviously it's a conspiracy of lemurs. A trickle of streamers? More like a torrent. A bandwidth of streamers? You know, actually that works. We're a band with width. Or if kick.com is to believed, it could be a gamble. I don't like Congress of Streamers. Like, I really don't like that. Although Twitch would probably want you to say a guild of streamers. They've been using guilds as a term for a while. What was also kind of funny was I received an email from Twitch not too long ago asking me to apply to be a guild leader for the Twitch Unity stuff, which, by the way, I know almost nothing about. I know it's a thing that they do and it's a brand name. Anyway, the first requirement was just, because I looked at it, I was like, what? Why are they inviting me? I clicked on it and it's just like, are you a member of a minority group or a member of the LGBTQ community? And I was just like, no. And then it was just like, you don't qualify. I was like, cool, excellent. I was just like, why'd you even send me that email? Also, apparently Nerd's Half-Life is stealing boulders at the Ghost. Nothing of value was lost, but... No slabs engraved. How did I manage to get so many doors with no slabs engraved? I think a community of streamers is actually probably the most correct one we've said. Quite literally, King. Yeah. Quite literally. Also, how you doing, dude? How's things been, mate? Oh. It's that time of year. We get to wait for the long save again. They were looking for dates. Nah, I'm too straight. Boringly straight, as somebody in chat said once. It is the year 300, yeah. I guess we is Sparta. Go and flip that lever? That lever that do what? No, so the guild leaders are supposed to be like... Okay, I don't actually know exactly what the Twitch guild stuff is because, frankly, I don't pay any attention to things that Twitch is doing. It generally improves my mental health when I don't. But they have this thing called Twitch Unity, and the Twitch Unity leaders are guild leaders, and they're basically just like the spokespeople for specific groups within Twitch. So, like, there's drag queens who are like member or like leaders in the Twitch Unity stuff. There's members of various different minority groups are considered leaders in the Twitch Unity stuff. I don't know. I don't pay any attention to it. Quite frankly, like it's Twitch doesn't help me in any way, so I'm not going to help them for free. Basically. Although usually that stuff also equals with you getting a better sub split. Because they usually then just add you to the ambassadors list, which does get you a better, you know, it does get you paid more. But I don't know. Generally, the experience that I've had with Twitch over the years is that they don't give a fuck about me. And that means I don't generally do much for them. Where can Gremlin for Mayor creatures sign up? By being a Twitch partner. In before Diamond becomes a Gremlin VTuber just for this opportunity. I too vote Crab. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a irrelevant Dwarf Fortress content creator in the grand scheme of Twitch. Like that Mr. Beast troll said the other day, I'm never going to gain mainstream popularity, which is totally fine. I will be okay. Just hiding over here in my corner. Speaking of my corner's finished saving now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hole. Okay, and in the bottom of that hole is going to be spikes made of various materials, copper, silver, and what have you. I'm going to have a minecart right here spinning in circles, and the minecart's going to make the spikes go up, down, up, down, up, down. At the end here, we're going to have a bunch of catapults, which are going to fire boulders, which are going to make things fall onto the spikes, because they'll jump out of the way of the flying boulders. That's my plan for this defensive system. So, what you think? I'll get a swift fall down to a wee splat. All right, done. When you appear, you get to be this. You have a gremlin emote? That's funny. My emote's just a literal gremlin. Back to paperwork? Good luck with your paperwork. Are you actually doing paperwork, or is that like a joke referencing Gremlin from Air? I don't actually know with you half the time. All right, where was that guild hall? Ah, finally, put that dwarf to rest. Up here. We'll put my millstone in here. Let's do this. I do have a fancy amulet, yeah. You are correct about this. I've got 2, actually. Okay, well, that should sort that out. Frame rate just got a lot slower. Wonder what's causing that. Although general happiness of dwarves is actually quite good right now. So I'm not too upset. Quite happy, actually. Let's unforbid all of these. Guess I can do that multiple layers at a time. But how are you doing today, IR Stupid? That Vile Force? Vile Force of Mug was mugged out into the chat today. Means one more person has received a mugging. I think we're getting close to 110 Vile Force of mugs sold. I need to actually go look, but I think we're at that point. Okay, so how are we doing on bars now? 40 silver, 74 copper. Okay. Copper spike. Oops. 70. Silver spike. 40. Trying to decide if I should build up on this or not. Yeah, you know, we could. It would look nice if we built up. I can put another military squad up here, too. Doing all right? Good to hear, man. Musical hall has been satisfied. So I guess what I'm going to do here is we're going to smooth these walls. We're going to build up in here, and we're going to build up 1 layer in here, and we're also going to channel down, because remember, I'm having to dig out 2 layers, right? So this upper layer up here, which just making sure it's not digging through anything, is going to have a construction up here that's going to cover this entire thing with a 1 tile wide thing in the middle. But we're going to need to probably, I guess, use drawbridges or something to scaffold and smooth the walls so things can't climb back up. And then the bottom layer is just going to be full of spikes. It's going to take a while to get those built, though. Next thing I need to do is machines and da-ba-da-ba-ba-da. Where's my pressure plates? I swear pressure plates were in here. Unless they put them under traps. Oh, well, they are. Weird. All right, so minecarts trigger. Resets. Yes. We can just make an iron minecart and we'll get it rotating around that. Because minecarts on the tracks can trigger those. Should be effective. Looks like we need to brew drinks from fruit. Because we're starting to run low on plants to brew. Might as well give us some fruit, some food variety. And there we go. Getting all this smooth. You know, it's funny. I've already got somebody requesting an interview with the developer of King Under the Mountain over on YouTube, which I think is kind of funny because I actually had one lined up before, ages ago, back when the game released on Steam the first time. I was like, hey, like, you know, I backed you on Kickstarter. Would you be willing to talk to me? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then just completely ghosted me, probably due to something related to, you know, just that game's development being fraught and weird. So, never did actually end up hearing back from that dev, but maybe one day. That would be an interesting conversation to have. It's got to be an interesting tale of whatever the hell happened to that game. Certainly one of the weirder situations I've encountered. But unfortunately, I'd be willing to bet that most of that story is probably caked up in NDA, meaning I don't know how much we'd actually be able to get. All right, well, let's let them do their thing. A little bit quiet today, probably because I took yesterday off. But yeah, end of this month's going to be exciting. End of this month's going to be the DF Hot Potato. Looking forward to that. Alrighty. Nutty Wombat. We'll see you when we see you. We'll be on tomorrow. Should be, unless something weird happens. I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports about this Ragnarok now.